Open this up. Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Apostle Babe Linda James, your favorite apostate. Welcome, everyone. Any previous Jehovah's Witnesses that usually show up here on our stream. Tonight, we're having one of those let's check in with each other to see how we're doing nights. I usually do my shows on Saturday nights, but I've come to value being able to do shows on holidays. And there are also people that are here tonight that are part of this. I believe it's a marathon that Purple has put together. She's orchestrated it to where throughout the whole globe, there will be somebody here um, on this, on this. I'm sorry, I forget what she calls it, so forgive me. But when I first found out about it, she invited me, and I was hesitant because I was first getting to know her. And so I just kind of observed. And then after that, the next year, I was like, yes, I'm in. So this is my second year getting to be a part of this. And let me just say, I'm just so thankful that I get to be a part of this because holidays are not always easy for everyone. Sometimes it is easy, sometimes things flow well, but there's a few different things that can make holidays very, very tough for some people. Let me get my phone so I can go to the chat and listen to you guys. Um, I'll have to put on my glasses. I think it was Atheist Granny. Is that how we refer to her? Atheist Granny, who started off the marathon. Um, I'm sorry, Purple. I'm just going to keep calling it the wrong thing if that's what it is. So let me exit out of this. I need to find where I'm at. And the reason I do this is because for some reason I can't see it on the screen. Okay, wonderful. I do this is because for some reason I can't. The sound was still on. And I don't want my Bluetooth hooked up to it. So I'm turning that off. Okay, hello everyone. Hello, Purple. And Happy Thoughts and J Mars, Catnip. Hello, everybody. And Elaine Brain Drain and Mark Reed, Atheism. It is so good to see you guys. Maya. Yeah, long time no see. And we've got Becca Boo. So a lot of you may have been part of the what's been going on, and I think that's great. Um, First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Jehovah's Witnesses, and I know that within society at large, we can look like some odd people. Those of us that have been part of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and it's very difficult to understand why Jehovah's Witnesses would behave in the manner that they have. But it's definitely a cult, and the reason I call it a cult is because there are certain techniques and tactics that are used to get people to believe what they believe. It's not so much what they believe, okay? Because we have freedom of religion, we get to believe whatever we want to believe. But when you get yourself or have found yourself or are born into, which is what I was, born into this culture, okay, it was all I ever knew. So growing up, I knew I was different. I knew that my culture was different than the rest of the world. But the way I was indoctrinated and the way I was kept isolated from society at large made it to where the only information, for the most part, was coming from that culture. So, again, the reason I call it a cult is that of the techniques and tactics that they use, and the techniques and tactics that they use are toxic, they're abusive, and they get in the way of you getting to develop into who you authentically are. You end up having to be a personality other than who you naturally are. So there is no come as you are, which is kind of expected from like a church of mainstream Christianity, maybe. But so yeah, the thing about Jehovah's Witnesses is, which is something that most cults have in common, is they all believe that they're the only chosen one by God. And I'm only speaking about religious cults right now. There are all kinds of cults. There can be a family cult. There could be political cults. There could be any kind of group of people that get together. If somebody in leadership decides to welcome, hello, welcome. I'm glad you joined me. Thank you.
Yeah, I said I would.
Thank you so much. So we've got Grey Wolf with us. So if now I lost my thought, but you showing up was okay, was worth my thought.
Something about cults.
Something about cults, yes. So any kind of group can become a cult, can become toxic depending on the leadership or somebody who decides to be the leader, and how they try to manipulate you and use tactics and techniques on you to get you to behave in the manner that you would behave. Okay, it's a real control thing. And it's never given to you in a manner of, this is what we're doing and why. No, it's given to you in a manner of deception. So it's usually handed to you in a manner of, this pleases God. And don't do that because this pleases God. And to be honest, most Jehovah's Witnesses are very good-hearted people, so please don't ever make fun of them or go up to them and challenge them in a manner that would make them feel like a fool. Okay. You might be familiar with other groups that you can tell think very differently than mainstream society mainstream society at large. So the Jehovah's Witnesses are like a subculture, a culture off to the side of society at large. And that's how most cults are. They take you away from society at large, where most of your information can come from, good or bad, and they direct you with the information that they want you to receive and limit the information that could be coming from society at large. And it can be done in different ways. One of the ways that it was done is it was taught to us that going to college was not a good idea. And for a couple of different reasons. So this cult is also a doomsday cult. And the reason I say this is because what qualifies as a doomsday cult is if you are doing something that helps bring about Armageddon. Okay. So I'm getting some more people to join me. Okay. Purple's here, and someone else. I missed you, and I'm going to get you now. Hello, welcome.
I am people.
Hi, Mark. Good to meet you.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Pups. Hi, Mage.
Hello.
Foster Babe.
Thank you for showing up, everyone.
Pedantic, Mark, but you are not people. You are person.
I am people. I consider my brain to be multiple people.
Like my mom.
I often argue with myself. Some people are crazy.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I didn't know it was an open room, so thank you so much for having me. Do you mind if I call you Linda?
Please do, yes.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I didn't know it was an open room. I just passed over to you, and I thought I would invade your space. I hope that it is welcome. I hope.
Well, I'm working on boundaries, so you might be helping me out today. So thank you. Yeah,
I'm
happy you're here.
Not sure how I should take that.
Well, you know.
When you're in a high control, high demand group, boundaries are like the most foreign thing out there. It's like, boundaries? What's that? Like, I didn't know I even had boundaries growing up within this group.
I don't know if you want to be trying to establish boundaries with somebody who's constantly asking if he's morally bankrupt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not my fault. Look, it's weird with cults because you don't have your own boundaries, but the cult has boundaries. Like
Yeah.
it's sort of this, there are things that you absolutely ought not to do, or people, can't come into it. They have these boundaries which are, they're not self-imposed. So,
Correct.
usually our boundaries are things that makes me feel uncomfortable, then I will make a boundary that shouldn't be crossed. But instead you've got, well, you shouldn't have that boundary for yourself. You should have what the cult gives you as a boundary, which may be, talking to people outside the cult. And that's a big one, isolating. And I want to talk about, I don't mean to hijack, but I wanted to talk about how, like a lot of cults, I want to know if you celebrated Christmas or anything like that, or not in a traditional sense, or was it sort of a modern version of Christmas, or was it, a very sort of insular and unique kind of, sort of, we've got to praise Jesus in our own way kind of thing?
So fortunately, I left this organization when I was about 18 or 19. So I didn't raise my kids within this organization. My kids got to have Christmas. And my first Christmas was with my then boyfriend's mother and him. I ended up living at their home. And there was a Charlie Brown tree. She gave me a bowl of popcorn and a needle and thread and told me to, like, I'd had no clue what to do. I did not grow up with the traditions. I did not grow up with the rituals. What I grew up with was being told it was pagan, and that's why we should not have any part of it. But since then, I've come to find almost everything has pagan roots. So, and that the Christians actually purposely put their holidays near the holidays of pagans, hoping to recruit them,
Right.
Yeah. So it's something that those of us that leave a high controlled, high demand group, we kind of shed different belief systems as we're going along. Whichever ones, some of the stuff we've been indoctrinated to believe, we still hold on to some of it until we're ready to let it go. And then over time, more and more has been shed, and we have more and more freedom. So this is the thing about a cult. And I always tell people, listen, if God tells you, if somebody tells you that they are God, or if somebody tells you they speak for God, run. You are dealing with a cult, run. The Jehovah's Witnesses speak for God to his followers. So we were his followers, and we were taught that they are the mediator, much like how God used Moses. If you're familiar with any biblical stories of the Old Testament, God used Moses to speak to his people. The organization of Jehovah's Witnesses headquarters and stuff, they were like a Moses to us. So God gave them the info to give to us. So when we were informed to do things, we literally believed that it was guidance from God.
Yeah.
And what they do is they offer you a free Bible study. And I'm pretty convinced that within the first 6 weeks, it's a process of gaslighting someone to give up their own free will, which they don't realize they're doing, because the book study talks about how treacherous the heart is, and how you should not lean on your own understanding, and how much smarter it is to rely on God's advice. And by the way, God's using this organization because we're so bitching, and all these testimonies and stuff. So we get to a place of, do we want to choose our own guidance that we come up with, or do we want to use God's guidance, which is an easy, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's go with the God side. That's the gaslighting right there.
I've got
that's
some
why we
comments
follow
asking
their directions.
I've got some comments in the chat asking, like, who am I? I'm Mark Reed. I started off doing debate on YouTube, so I'm not a JW. I do notice people asking that. I'm what's called a cradle atheist. I was raised in a secular household. The worst I ever got was sort of astrology and Chinese medicine and crystals and stuff like that. That's the worst I ever got. So I'm very lucky, but I find it very interesting, and I like it's Stephen. Somebody uses the bite model of cults.
Stephen
right?
Hassan. Yeah, Stephen.
Yes.
Stephen Hassan.
I like this. I like the bite model. I've used that.
The bite
yeah,
model
I-
is
I-
awesome. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
I tried applying that to MAGA. It's pretty scary how many hits it hits.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I've applied that to Kent Hovind, and it's scary how many hits it has. Like really horrible. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Linda. But I think it's interesting that instead of us seeing as Christmas as a way to bring people together, and we have these things that we all share, like family and connections, and you know what I mean. But what I've noticed with cults is they sort of will ostracize people and say, hey, they don't do Christmas properly. Let's not associate with them. Let's we have our own thing. So I was really curious just to know that these people were like, oh, that's pagan. We've got the real thing here, which I notice a lot.
So with Jehovah's Witnesses, what we were taught is that it was pagan. And do you really want to have anything to do with something with pagan roots, which makes us think to ourselves, oh gosh, no,
Right.
So like I was listening to the knitting cult lady. We lost Purple again. She'll be back. And she was talking about their Christmases when she was growing up, she was in the group called the Children of God, which started here in Southern California. Welcome back, Purple.
It's not just you that needs sleep. It seems like it's a machine too. There, I'm guessing. Okay, you get somebody is saying they're speaking for God. Okay, you were speaking for an omniscient being. Okay, answer 2 questions for me. I got the 2 questions. I know what the answers in my head are. So your God should be able to relay what they are to me. No,
Well, I always find it funny that you have science.
Okay, let me just answer back with
Sure.
So what I do on this show is talk about maybe some of the doctrines that the organization teaches, but more so, this is how we can do things differently now. This is more of a place to land after we've left the organization, and we kind of are trying to figure out how to function in society at large. Because what ends up happening is we have what's called institutional syndrome. When people get out of jail and they don't function well and they get panic attacks and stuff, many Jehovah's Witnesses have that same experience because we were institutionalized, as part of that, secluding us away from everybody. So the idea of doing things that we weren't allowed to do before, which is a whole lot, okay, can be scary or can be exciting.
That makes sense.
There needs to be an adjustment time, and it needs to be on their own timing, not mine. So when like a few weeks back, I was talking, if it's okay with your conscience, these are some things we can do for Christmas. And since we haven't been given any rituals or any traditions and stuff that we've had in the past, guess what? We get to start from scratch and make our own, so
Right.
This is what we can do to function in society at large. There's a lot of things that we get. We're socially stunted. So it's like getting dropped off in another country and being told to find your way home. So as someone is finding their home, so to speak, symbolically, we're also developing who we authentically are at the same time. And I just, in this show, I get to support people in being who they authentically are. We got to be told before what our personality was supposed to be. There's this term called putting on the new personality. It's like putting on some form of clothing, like it's a one size fits all, and taking the guidance of the leadership, which would feel very against our own intuition, but we did it because we wanted to obey God. But today we get to listen to our intuition and actually rely on it. So these new experiences, new ways of thinking that you're probably very familiar with, is just things I bring up. And whatever somebody who joins me brings up, we kind of would let the conversation flow too, Like, sure, ask me some other things you had in mind, or let me know what you were going to say because I cut you off.
No, I don't even remember. It probably wasn't that important. If I can't remember, it probably wasn't important in the first place.
Yeah, so again, please always be decent with people that you meet that you can tell are in a cult. You can tell they've been isolated. It's
Yes.
it's nobody joins a cult, okay, on purpose. Recruitment is always done by deception. So when somebody has the mindset of, I'd never be stupid enough to join a cult, you're probably one who will be a victim.
Not always
Right.
about intelligence.
It isn't about intelligence, right? A matter of fact,
Well, I remember Penn Jillette saying nobody's easier to fool as a magician than someone that thinks they can't be fooled. That's the easiest person to fool. And I'd imagine it's kind of similar. If you think you're immune to psychological manipulation, you're very easily manipulated.
and because we've spent time in that organization, guess what? There's this thing called cult hopping that we are easily prone to experience. So we might go to another cult. Or in my case, I found myself in a few other abusive relationships, as in partners. I was groomed for that, and I didn't know that when I was going through that.
Right.
Finally, one day
Right.
I'm like, okay, I seem to be the common denominator here. And somebody told me to look up the word narcissism. That's how I found Stephen Hassan when he was talking about the bite model, talking about how, the cult leaders are always, narcissists, often malignant narcissists, and what that means, what that character is. And they end up training those underneath them. Like there's kind of this higher echelon kind of area where the top leadership is, and the rank and file members are about like right here, So there's a lot of stuff that happens up here that we have no clue about. We're never informed of. So there's a lot of secrecy involved.
If you feel inclined to join another cult, I'll recommend Bad Science Sunday because at least they'll tell you it's a cult up front.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
Oh, and if
Do
you
you like weasels?
just so you know, my dog is playing, so you might hear growling in the background.
Okay, thank you for telling me. And dogs are welcome, kids are welcome. It's okay. We can have those sounds that are happening.
How about cats and dinosaurs?
Yes, those too. So yeah, let's see here. People are saying hi to each other, so that's cool. If a JW commits a sin, what do them have to do to be forgiven, to amend? Guess what? This is the thing about JWs. It used to be we would go in prayer, and then I would say around the 80s. First off, about the 70s, the early 70s, around 72, 73, they came up with what is called an elder body for each congregation. So it would be a group of men, whereas it used to be just one person that kind of guided the congregation and, orchestrated when a certain church event, which they call meetings, would happen. So they've switched it to kind of one person to an elder body, which might be like 3 to, 8 to maybe even 12 men who are considered placed there by Holy Spirit, which is what we were taught. So what they receive from higher up in the that word I used earlier, we consider whatever they told us as coming from God. So however they direct us, we're to be obedient and do these things, even when they feel wrong. So at this time when it became an elder body, about 8 or so years after that, there was a lot of talk about if you've sinned or whatever, you need to go to the elders. and let them know of your sins. Okay, it wasn't always that way, but it is
Well,
that
they
way
haven't
now.
got that far ahead because they told you the world was going to end in 3 years.
They've actually had about 3 or 4 Armageddon due dates that they will deny as being prophecies and simply predictions, and that they're imperfect people that got it wrong. No. They actually blamed it on the members because we were too over enthusiastic to expect it
But
to
this
have
next
been
one
that.
for sure.
Right?
Wow.
Yes. What's really odd is lately a governing body member, which is one of maybe 8 to 12, or like an elder body, they take the place of where, say, the top-notch pope would be within the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is a theocracy, and so is the Jehovah's Witnesses. They are a theocracy, meaning a government ruled by the God of the Bible. So they say you need to come to them. They don't forgive sins like what would happen in the Catholic Church. They don't do that. But at that point, you might find out that you will get some consequences. And it usually depends on whether or not anybody knows about what you've confessed. Within this organization, there's so many things that are wrong. There's a lot you would have to confess. It's the standards are so high. Yes, there could be some people that go by them, but it's to be expected that you miss the mark a few times, so that, and then you've been trained to go to the elders and tell them about it. So if the elders decide that, nobody else knows about it, and they kind of just show you a few scriptures and give you some encouragement, it might not be a big deal, depending on the sin. But they have something classified as a gross sin. I don't know how to define what makes something a gross sin or not, but it's in their elders book, which, by the way, women are not allowed to look at. And when I get my little
Wow.
paws on it, I have a good time.
But wait, hold on, Linda. How are you supposed
Yes.
to avoid a gross sin if you don't know what it is?
That's the thing. We get to find out through articles that are in the literature. And
Oh,
we
I
were
see.
we were trained that not only does God speak to us through the Bible, but he also speaks to us through the literature that the headquarters of this organization of Jehovah's Witnesses have printed out for us to learn on. So the founder, Charles Taze Russell, he had started a printing business, and he had a line of books that he was selling. And then over time, the next president that took over, he had some books. So it's been a printing company ever since. But the way to make sure everybody has a subscription is to let us know that that's part of how God speaks to us and teaches us and guides us. So we became dependent on it.
But at the same
For our
time,
survival.
same
Yes.
time, there's a good chance that you're not even going to know something's a rule unless you already broke it.
There is times like that. Yes. The way it's supposed to go, and it doesn't always go this way, is over time, because of all these studies that you've gone through, usually with the congregation, you'll find out what are against God's rules or God's laws or things that disappoint Jehovah. Okay. So over time, you kind of get an idea, but every so often you find out a sin that's on a need to know basis, and you don't get to know until you need to know. Those are never a good time. And
Well, don't
it's
you always
very
need to know
shocking.
it's a sin before you do it?
Yeah, it's very. I don't know, man. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I'll give you an example. My mother and my father, there was a time when he cheated on her. Okay, and within this organization, you're not allowed to leave your spouse unless they've cheated on you um, with another person, or if they are a spiritual danger, trying to get you to change your belief system. Okay. So as my mother complained to the elders, that were placed there by Holy Spirit, about this situation, the elders asked her, have you two had relations since then? And they had. Okay, well, you've already forgiven him then. So that's when she got to know on this need to know basis. So she finds out that he cheats on her. They have relations, which a husband and wife would. And that's what the elders have decided says she has forgiven him.
Wow.
So she's not able to biblically, according to the organization, leave him. So she was stuck with him.
Wait a
And
minute.
man,
At
did I
the same
feel it.
time, though, isn't she forbidden to refuse her
Obliged.
husband?
You'd think, yeah. See? Catch-22 a lot. Double bind a lot, yes. It's so a lot of just cramped stuff. And there's so much more available after we leave this organization. While we're in it, we're being trained that this is the only safe place. Everything outside of it is being ruled by Satan the devil, including every other church. They are all false religions. So there's literal fear indoctrination used on us.
This is
And-
apparently some new meaning of the word safe, of which I was
Yeah.
previously unaware.
Yeah.
New word of what? New
New
definition
meaning of the word safe, of which I was previously unaware.
Yeah, that's the only safe place within
That's a
Jehovah's
quote from the
organization.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Oh, okay. 42? Yeah, 42. So that's like what is that, the number that's the Hitchhiker's Guide? I think
42 is the
42.
answer to life, the universe, and everything, but we're still trying to figure out what's the right question to ask.
well, I do like the fact that Alanis Morissette was God. That was pretty awesome.
Well,
That
in,
was
in
in
that
Dogma?
movie.
Dogma
unfortunately,
was the
my
movie.
nephew has brought something disturbing to my attention.
What's that?
You know the 6-7 thing that kids are doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
6 times 7 is 42.
Oh,
So
funny.
maybe that's been the question we've been looking for all along.
Wow. Okay. That's the best
Well,
explanation I've
there
gotten
is
so far.
what is 6 times 7 is definitely one of the suggestions in Douglas Adams' book as to what the actual question is.
Interesting. Yeah, I've been seeing people do that 6-7 thing and have no clue what it means, but evidently
Most people
I know
don't.
what to do.
it's like some inside understanding kind of joke thing. So there's this
Not,
thing
well,
called
not understanding is the point.
right.
Yeah,
Speaking of not understanding being the point, what cults do is use something called loaded language. And it's for the purpose of those within the cult talking in a certain manner that those outside of it would not understand. So if you see two women talking together, and one of them asks, so how long have you been in the truth? That question really means, how long have you been a baptized Jehovah's Witness? See how these are two different. Saying it this way really means this. So there's certain words that would mean. So what they do is they would take a word and add something on top of the word to add to the definition, or they'll take the word and totally change the definition of it. So
yeah,
that's
but it's
kind
like
of
asking for a password to know whether or not somebody's a member of the group.
Secret
That's-
handshake.
yeah, it matter of fact, so much so that if somebody shows up that hasn't been within this organization for a while and they want to get back in, because they want to get back right with God, they would be using terminology safe from 10 years ago or 5 years ago. It will have changed so much so that it will be noticeable to those that are in the congregation at this time, especially to the elders.
Interesting.
So they won't be able to just show up at a Kingdom Hall and act like they just left from one, like they moved to this state or whatever from another one. It tells on them. It tells them that, yeah. So being that I was raised in this organization, I like to do these shows because talking to somebody such as yourselves about the things that we went through and the belief systems we had is pretty much unfathomable to people such as yourself. And it's we didn't know we had any human rights, so it's hard to look at somebody and think how unfathomable it is, and even maybe even think, well, why didn't they do this, that, or the other? We didn't know this, that, or the other was even an option. Okay.
Yep.
That's how secluded and isolated. It's like we grew up under a rock, those of us that were raised in it. But some people that are recruited, they end up living a life kind of under a rock, meaning just away from society at large. And we self-isolate. It's not a compound. Like some groups you may have heard of, some cults have a whole compound away from society at large. We self-isolate. So that the fear that we've been taught, associating with those that are not Jehovah's Witnesses, it will erode our faith, which means it's not going to please God.
That's another thing you'll see with MAGA. Self-isolation.
It is. You're right. And I started talking about politics. And there's been a few people that, used to show up on a regular basis and have left. And I understand. And one of them even told me, I can't listen to this kind of stuff. And I don't blame them. But the reason I do talk about politics now is because of the so many things are the same as the techniques and tactics that are used in cults are being used on us from our own government.
Mm-hmm.
It stands out like a neon sign to me, and I'm bringing them up.
Stands out as like a neon sign to me. I'm not even been in a cult, as far as I know.
And there's this other previous Jehovah's Witnesses that have a show that are very pro-Trump.
Hey.
So I'm trying to do my best at
not
having us become like rivalries.
Anyone can be for it. Like, I don't understand how anybody can think that it's insane. It's insane to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, you see the correlation between MAGA and cults? What is the same? Can you explain to me?
Yeah. Well, the sort of othering of people, they make everything that's not them sort of, an other. I think that their belief in what people say over the actual evidence around them, like they will absolutely believe whatever is said, regardless of what, people that are like, oh, the economy is going fantastic because Trump says it is. As opposed to what they actually see around them every day. It's wild. It's absolutely wild.
Yes. What's interesting is within a cult, the leadership or the cult demands absolute loyalty. Trump demands absolute loyalty. And what loyalty does, when you are loyal and you have faith in a belief system, or somebody says they're going to do these things and you have faith in them, any kind of facts somebody brings to you is simply a distraction, and you're just trying to get me off of my the direction that I know that I'm going in, which is good for us and good for me. That's truly the belief that you can't, facts don't interrupt that very often unless they've already started having cracks in their loyalty in their belief system. They won't have. I happen to look at it as a form of cult hopping. Like I mentioned earlier, people find themselves in another maybe church or another belief system that could be toxic. I find the MAGA movement to be toxic, but then there's other people here within this previous Jehovah's Witness group of this community that really have a sense of following his his ways and stuff. And
I just can't get how anybody can claim to be a Christian and claim to follow the Ten Commandments and be okay with Trump.
that's called Christian nationalism, sir. I mean, ma'am.
Yeah,
Forgive me.
it's okay. But yeah,
Yeah, this is Christian nationalism, and the bottom line with Christian national, because there's a whole lot. The bottom line with Christian nationalism, because you'll hear them talk a whole lot about we need to bring prayer back in school, all this. This was the U.S. was started as a Christian nation,
Yeah.
which it was not. Okay. The bottom line is they are trying to create the U.S. to be a Christian nation so that Jesus will come back.
Yeah, I keep saying repeatedly, even if you are a Christian, you don't want Christian nationalism because there's a good chance it's not going to be your brand of Christianity that's going to be forced on you.
Correct.
Amongst Christianity, it's like considered a smaller group, and it's farther right, farther right.
Yeah.
And farther left, I consider myself kind of center to the left. If I'm getting too far left, then I would get radicalized,
Yeah.
And there's been things from the past that are too far left,
it's like, even if they could make the U.S. government a Christian theocracy,
which
they're
is what
going to immediately break into a civil war about which version of the Bible are we following.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so and I'm not talking about just the ordinary Christian that goes to church, the ordinary Joe Christian, because there's plenty of them out there that are just common decent people who are not in our faces, who are not telling us what our convictions should be, that are not saying that these beliefs, like, they're not blaming everything on the immigrants and all the transgender people, like as if that's
but
what's ruining America,
Even
But
the
they
different
have to have a
commentators,
Mhm.
have been pointing out that different members of Trump's cabinet, that they'll start, quoting Bible verses, and they're pointing out that, they're quoting from different versions of the Bible, and if these two people sit down at the table, they're going to start arguing with each other.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And see, within the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, we could not open the Bible, read a scripture or a chapter, and let it speak to us and for us to come up with conclusions of what it meant. We had to receive whatever the governing body, the leadership of the organization, told us, the interpretation of whatever the scriptures were. So that sounds like they're going to get involved in something that, if they're arguing about what these scriptures mean or the right Bible, Jehovah's Witnesses have a unique Bible as well that is pretty much considered the worst of the worst Bibles, but they promote it like it's one of the best things out there. That's most accurate. Because I used to go door to door saying this. I was trained to say it. And we did not have holidays. We did not have Christmas. We did not have Thanksgiving. But a long time ago, we did. There was Christmases. But the second president pretty much took those away. And my opinion is that was done so that the followers, and back then they were not called Jehovah's Witnesses. They were called International Bible Students.
Didn't know
Association. So the President Rutherford was running the show at that time, and he was getting rid of holidays. I believe it was said to us because they have pagan roots, but I believe it's because it was another form of isolating us from family and friends, because we might actually be influenced by them. And if they can control what influences us, that's information control.
Yeah,
part
that
of the
makes
BITE
sense,
model,
that they're-
BITE. It would be the I for information control.
yeah, they're limiting how many people outside the organization you'd be talking to.
Yes. And we were also told that going door to door or preaching the good news is something that is considered mandatory, a commission, and that all followers of Jehovah's Witnesses it's a mandatory thing for us to all do. Mormons will have, usually men, there are some women too, but usually it's the beginning of their adulthood. They might go on a 2-year mission, and, they've done that. They've done that, going out sharing the good news and stuff. But with Jehovah's Witnesses, you always have to do it. And so here we are in society at large, adjusting to holidays, adjusting to, for instance, somebody might want to get a tattoo. That was forbidden within the org. So getting a tattoo is like a big deal. All kinds of stuff that we were forbidden. Smoking is not like a good idea to do, but like you could be kicked out for smoking. And it might seem like, right on, they're kicked out. They didn't need to be there in the first place.
Exactly.
Keep in mind, they don't know how to function in the real world. I did not know how to function in the real world.
Yeah.
And I did things that were socially unacceptable and rude and had no clue. Okay.
And it can also put you in a dangerous situation because you don't know how to deal with other people.
Yes. So adjusting.
If you're used to the elders taking care of everything, it could be rather easy for, con artists to take advantage of you.
And that's really the bottom line, is a con artist. And
especially with no critical thinking skills.
Critical thinking skills, I had no idea what that was. We were also taught to not have independent thinking, and that was very much poo-pooed on and thought of as worldly, meaning all of y'all that are under the influence of the devil. And how miserable. We were taught y'all were miserable. And that we are the happiest people on earth. It's if this is the only information we're getting, we believe it, So,
well, it's odd because they'll sort of go, "Oh, you live in the worldly, and then there's the spiritual," and all I can think is like, that's just imaginary. It's just your imagination. Basically, you're basically saying, don't live in the actual world, live in your imagination. And I know that's not what they believe, but I think as children we've all had imaginary worlds, but sort of it wasn't reinforced in us that they were actually real. That and superior to the world around you and what you're doing in the world around you. So, but yeah, it's very tempting to go into an imaginary world where everything's perfect and everything's wonderful and everything's always good, but it's not real.
In a world of pure imagination.
This is rich coming from somebody who's not on a continent that doesn't exist.
Okay, well, that's just rude. That's just rude.
Sorry.
Are you guys having a bit of a tiff that's been going on for a while, and you guys kind of keep it going?
No. I'm not offended in the slightest. It's just some flat earthers who I've debated flat earthers. They think that Australia is made up and it's not real. There's other people that think that other things are not real, like birds, which is wild. There's some really flawed beliefs out there, and it's not all religious, but
right.
It's just religion seems to be, we have a problem with the way that we think, that we will assign to things that we don't know why they occur. We want to assign something, and
yes,
refraining from doing so is hard. Like you don't want to just say, well, I don't know why the house creaks. It's easier to say, hey, it's a ghost, we've cleared it up. We're not satisfied with having no answer. And I know because I'm not
afraid
satisfied.
of the unknown.
Yes.
Right,
and
right.
If a volcano goes off and we're feeling earthquakes, calling it the results of a god kind of settles well,
Well, if you can anthropomorphize it, then you feel like you can reason with it.
Right. You have some control at that point over something that is 100% uncontrollable. And also, that you then get to sort of say, hey, if we make these sacrifices, it won't erupt again. We have control over this, and that seems to be good for people to feel like they have control, and that's all fine and great and works fantastic with keeping people calm living next to a volcano until it erupts again. And then what humans seem to do is blame somebody for that. Like you didn't sacrifice properly, or Sven over there sacrificed the wrong person, or just whatever to blame whoever.
Or them blaming the hurricanes in Florida because there's too many gay people down there.
Thank you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Natural disasters blamed on the gays. It was always just been like, what? It's just mind-boggling.
Well, I loved when that tornado went through New Orleans and it spared the gay quarter and only the gay quarter.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that was Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, was it? Oh, by the way, I was answering a question by somebody in the chat asking, how does one get forgiven? Let me just say this. Jehovah's Witnesses never know if they're forgiven or not. We don't know if we have salvation or not. We don't know if we're going to survive Armageddon and make it into our afterlife, which is called the new system of things, and it's going to be a paradise on earth. There are a small, minute remnant of people that will go to heaven, 144,000, and most of them have died off. But for most Jehovah's Witnesses, their mindset of an afterlife is in the paradise earth that's going to be set up after Armageddon, after all of those that Jehovah's going to destroy all the non-JWs,
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, I was told, but Jehovah knows their heart, so not every non-Jehovah. It's you're taught two things, so we are in cognitive dissonance a lot.
I would think with only 144,000 reserved tickets after 2,000 years, they're probably sold out already.
Sometimes people backslide, so it opens up a seat. Let me read some of these.
This atheist-approved Matthew guy has been following us through all the streams and trying to inject their personal Christian view on us.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay. So in this, when I do this on Saturday nights, I'm not here to tell somebody how to believe. If they are leaning towards Christianity, good for them. If they're not, good for them. I'm wanting them to tap into what they are naturally leaning towards, and to pursue that and look into that. Because I'm not here to tell anybody what their belief system should be. I'm really here to educate on the techniques and tactics, and to help us learn how to function in society at large better, and for us to gather. And I really see us as very similar to prisoners of war. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Margaret Singer, Robert J. Lipton, a few other people studied the prisoners of war from the Korean War and the Japanese War, and the things that were used on them are the same kinds of things that are used in cults to some would say brainwash them, or mind control, or other terminology will be used, coercive behavior, things like that. So it's strategic. And to break free from an oppressed existence that you've been trained to believe is really the manner in which God would have us live is not an easy thing to do. Matter of fact, this gal that's here today, hello, Mama Bear, Elaine Brain Drain, tried to teach me what sunk cost fallacy was. Took me 2 years. Took me 2 years for me to finally understand it. And she had learned it from one of her sons, or both. She was so patient with me, because she would she would explain it over and over again. So within cults, there's also a lot of logical fallacies that are being used as well.
So what is the sunk cost fallacy?
Oh, I
Pardon?
missed this. Can you one at a time, please? What is cost fallacy? What is sunk cost fallacy?
Yeah. How would you describe it?
Oh,
So I would
well,
describe. Go ahead, Purple. Did you want to say
the
something?
easiest illustration of it is gambling. That
Yeah.
if you're at the casino and you keep putting quarters in the slot machine, that as you're going through more and more money, you keep thinking that, well, it's got to pay out eventually, and it's like I've already put all
No,
this
that's
into the
that's the
machine.
gambler's fallacy. That's slightly different. That's the gambler's fallacy.
Well, it is an investment.
Hmm.
The money
Yeah.
that someone puts in kind of counts as an investment, wouldn't it? Or
So that's a
okay, so y'all
fantastic
disagree. That's
example of the two. Like, that's a fantastic
Mhm.
example. A gambler's fallacy is saying, hey, I've been losing all this time. I've got to win at some point, right? Like, that's the
Yes,
gambler's
yeah.
fallacy. The sunk
Okay.
cost is where you're like, well, I've already put in X amount of money. It would be a waste for me not to continue because I've devoted so much money to trying to win, right? Like, it's like, well, I
You've
can't just
invested a
give
lot.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've invested a lot, yes. So the sort of pokies that we call them pokies. I don't know, the one-armed bandit, the machines kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is a really
Oh,
good
yeah.
example of that.
Must be
Because
Purple
that's the
saying.
two that really hook people. It's the idea that, hey, I've already put in like 50 quarters or 50.
Elaine
50
has just joined us, and Elaine, if you could turn off the YouTube.
Yeah, mute the
Elaine has
YouTube.
just joined us.
Good.
Okay,
Hello.
Elaine. So I just put you on mute until you turn that off, and then you can unmute yourself. Okay. So
Yeah, you can
this
go
is the
to-
Elaine I was talking about.
You can go to the tab, and if you just right click the tab, it should have an option to mute in most browsers.
She
I
still had
think you
YouTube
muted
on.
Mark.
I did.
No,
I don't know
No.
who is muted.
Oh, okay.
Just,
I may or may not be muted.
just Elaine's muted. Mark is not muted.
Okay. No, I was looking at.
And you have to turn. You have to
Hang
turn
on.
off
Hang
YouTube,
on,
please.
trying.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Hang on.
she'll figure it out. Yeah. So I love that she's going to join us now, because I was like, it took me 2 years. Sometimes I get things. First off, I have learning disabilities, but I just kind of learn differently. But that sunk cost fallacy, it just didn't click with anything else I already had up here. And
I really think that's one of those that, it's easy to understand intellectually, but it really takes a lot more to apply it internally. That you can still fall into it even if you understand what it is on an intellectual basis.
Yes. And, the older we get, the longer we've invested in a relationship or in a group, or, it's harder to leave. We might have less resources. Yeah.
Yeah. And it may not be worth the amount of investment. It may be worth like cutting your losses, basically. And that's what we've got to evaluate, whether it is actually worth all that time, even if you get the outcome that you want to get. Like, even if you do, you've done a course or something and you're having problems, and you're looking at spending the next years of your life doing it. Is the outcome worth it, even if you do succeed? And a lot of the times, like, it's used in relation to, say, lawsuits and things, right? Like, maybe the amount of money you're spending, it won't actually be recouped at the end of the day. And the sunk cost fallacy is sort of going, well, I've already put in, thousands and thousands into this thing.
Welcome back.
I've got to see it through to the end. And that may not be the most rational thing to do.
And to see it through to the end with our mindset that we were looking forward to Armageddon happening, because that's like the doorway to paradise, and God cleansing the earth of, those that have always been against him and under the influence of the devil and all that stuff. It's hard, that sunk cost fallacy. We're waiting for this to come through. Oh, she dropped out again. She's going to come back in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're believing that the payoff is eternity, then you're also
Yes.
convincing yourself that, well, it's
Yes.
not possible that in a human lifetime I could put in more than what an eternity is worth.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, for some reason, that's a definite one. Okay. Welcome, Elaine.
Hi. Sorry.
Hi.
Hello. You
We're
sound
having one of
good
those
now.
days. I'm
Hi,
really
Hello.
glad you're here.
everybody. Hi, everybody. Happy holidays.
I'm
Now
glad you're
for
here.
Christmas.
Yep.
So
Do
I
you
don't need,
remember when I couldn't get it?
oh, it's been so many years. I wish I had a tape of our conversations back on those days.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Mark explained it perfectly.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do
Thank
too.
you.
And
Because
you know,
you
everybody's
put
just been adding. Yeah.
Yeah.
investment. You invest your time, your life, your energy, but just like when you would invest in the stock market, you buy a stock and you think, oh, I'll just hold on to it. I'll hold on to it because even though it went down half, you think it's still going to go back up. When you're invested in the market, you
Yeah.
think, oh well, it's just a little market crash and it'll go back up. Yeah.
Well,
It
that's the
always
gambler's
does, right?
fallacy. Yeah, that's the gambler's one where you're sort of going, well, I've lost, sort of going, oh well, the dice haven't come out how I've wanted to. Just say you need a 6 on a dice, and you're like, oh, it's rolled 3 and 2 and 5, and it's rolled all the others. Just if I keep rolling, it'll make a 6, and that's the gambler's fallacy. That doesn't necessarily have to happen.
Okay. Like the
So it's
stock
slightly
market is a
different.
form of gambling. It is a form
Yeah.
of gambling, the
Yeah.
stock
Yeah.
market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
Well, it
That's
could be
Essentially.
also, but couldn't we use the illustration of a marriage?
Oh,
Uh,
sure.
I had being a witness and being indoctrinated, like Linda was saying, once you're in the marriage, that's it. Even though there are many red flags that you should be ending that marriage, you stay in because
Hello.
Mhm.
Diana has joined us. Hello.
Hello.
But
Yeah, she was there and she dropped out again.
no, I
Yeah.
just introduced Happy Thoughts, and Elaine is still talking. So yeah.
Okay, I had this issue with 2 marriages where I felt, I was obligated by God, to stay in and make it work and look
Yep.
for the good and
Mhm.
things are going to get better and that's how I stayed in 2 marriages that were not healthy. So,
Right.
Yeah.
but I
That's
did it for God.
Yeah.
You think you're investing,
Right.
well, for
oh
me,
well.
it's a
That
religious
being
thing,
a
but
that
yeah, I
loyalty and
stayed in
obedience to
abusive
God.
relationship for 12 years because kept thinking
Mhm.
that with this much time and it'll get better.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's
I
kind of
used
sad
to,
because you're missing out on, a life that you could be having
you don't
with
grow. Yeah, you don't
right,
grow as a
right.
person. You don't
Yeah.
And
think you are allowed to grow. You don't.
Yeah.
You're like an elephant being chained to a little post all your life. You don't
Oh
know
my
that
goodness.
you're strong enough to break that chain. You don't know that when your mind is chained to a policy or a scriptural, interpretation, and so you don't grow. But yeah, but what's been wonderful, it's been 7 years for me out, and I've gone through many stages, and I finally reached a stage where I'm completely free. Like my mind has, no attachment to any of those interpretations that I followed, which I believed in. Full, I believed all the stuff I was learning. But the beautiful thing is that if you let your mind grow and you keep educating yourself, then you can get a balance. And so that's where I'm finding myself now. I have full peace and freedom of mind, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But I missed out on a few years of growing. Anyway, That's the hard part about being in a cult. You don't let yourself grow. You
Yeah.
don't let yourself learn. You don't.
It
You don't.
doesn't allow us to. Welcome back, Happy
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi.
Heretic.
Okay.
Hi.
I'll mute down.
So, what has this been like for you when you come here to get together with me on Saturday nights? I mean, like I've kept telling these people here what I do and why, and have you guys been experiencing that when you do show up? Do you experience the sense of like you get to talk to people that get it, like in the chat
Yeah.
and stuff, and because that's what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
wanting it to be, a support. And it's not something that I ever want any people to become dependent on me. It's like one day you'll graduate, like one day it won't even feel like you'll come
Yeah, well,
back,
I was
and
never in the
you're okay with it.
JWs, but I can
Mhm.
see, that points of this where I can connect on.
Right. And then like you may have had enough, and maybe you'll come back and be of support to others, or sometimes you just want to visit again and tap back into it again and then go back out into the world. That's like, okay. So Dallas was saying the last time we were on that he missed, I forget her name. I'm going through a blank. So anyways, I talked with her. She gave me a message because I was telling them that I do this drive-by love thing. I just throw out a few hearts and let them know I'm thinking of them. But I didn't want to go to her and say, we haven't seen you here in the chat on Saturday nights, because that's what I was saying, because I didn't want it to feel like back in the day when we used to go to meetings when we were involved in the Jehovah's Witness religion. Because if we got a call like that or a message like that from an elder, it was pretty much like, you should have been there. Not, we're concerned about you. We missed you at the meeting doesn't really mean they missed us. That it really meant your ass should have been there. Nothing should have held you back. So I didn't want to be coming across as like some elder person saying, how you doing? I haven't seen you, But she kind of let me know that she was scheduling all these different things through the ex-Jehovah's Witness community, and it became stressful to her. So she just unsubscribed. Let me just say this. That was so wise of her. That was so wise. If it becomes stressful, it's not a benefit any longer, It's to be of a benefit.
That mention of drive-by thing kind of just reminded me of something. I was outside the store. I was waiting for this pet store to open. It opened like in an hour or something. And from where we got there, But I'm just kind of walking up and down the sidewalk of the strip, and this guy, this van drives up next to me, stops. This old guy jumps out and says something about it was this JW guy. It was like, he said something about finding God or something. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he hands me those little pamphlets they hand out. And he jumps back into the van and drives off.
Oh my God, I thought you were going to be like ICE was there. ICE showed up or something. I'm like, what the hell? Jumps out of him. Okay.
Well, that's kind of what the hell.
That's a bit,
So
that's a bit out of character.
So I called it the drive-by conversion.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of cute.
I never heard of them, doing one that was
No.
a quick shot like that. But usually they try to engage
That
you in a
is-
longer conversation.
Well, I've had others where they come
I-
to my door. I start talking to them. I usually when people come to my door like that, I usually try to see how long I can get them to keep talking. So for my record's about 30 minutes, but this particular
wow,
one, and they came back like a couple of days later with 2 more people. So I'm talking with 4
yes.
people now. That was
Nobody
funny.
ever comes to my door and tries to convert me. I would like them to try. Like I'd like them to, because I do debate. That's what I do online generally. So I'd love for that to happen.
That's something too that like we didn't get to debate before because it would seem like arguing. But there is a form of debating that isn't arguing. It's just, no, I disagree with you and this is why. And then the other person, I disagree with you and this is why, So it's kind of like a thing we can do now. that used to be considered like conflicting. Let's see here. We got Dallas in the house. And you were talking about the 12 days of Christmas. First off, let me just give Diana a minute to say hi. She is from Holland, and she happens to be visiting in the United States at this time.
Oh,
Um,
you're over here tonight.
Oh,
Yes,
watch out,
she's in the
ice.
States.
Watch out,
Yeah.
ice. They'll be
Careful
Hi.
about that.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Actually, Laurie Jane and I were invited by her son's girlfriend's parents for Christmas dinner.
Oh, how nice.
nice.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
And of
I
course,
love the
Yeah.
Netherlands. I love the Netherlands. I loved Haarlem. Haarlem is a wonderful village. I've stayed in Haarlem. It's fantastic. In the Netherlands.
Every so often, she'll call me, and she takes me on her ride, like as she's going along, driving down the streets, and just we're visiting. It's like I'm a passenger in her car. It is so cool. So I've
Oh,
seen like the way that it looks. It's just so serene. Yeah,
I'm on vacation now.
yeah. So
Nice.
how did
Oh,
that feel to you, having that, being over there for Christmas? What was that like for you?
it's because Laurie Jane's husband is officially still a witness, so he didn't come with us. But this was actually my first Christmas because we stopped after I was 16, and I was 15 when I had Bible study, and at 16 we didn't celebrate anything anymore. So that's how fast, this
Wow.
indoctrination goes.
Mm.
And so memories came up from before, and we used to have Christmas, and my grandparents always came
Okay.
one day, and the other day they went to my aunt. But and for Laurie Jane, I saw her eyes watering a little because she had to think of her Christmases with her parents who died, and the brother who also died, two brothers who died,
Oh my
and
goodness.
yeah. So and she told the people there that she was on her own, without her husband, because he's still a witness. But well, after that, we fell asleep on the couch at home, and I woke up and I saw it was Linda's show is on.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So, but I was hungry, and I went out of bed and I had a talk with Lorraine's husband for a while because he's Dutch from the Netherlands, Antilles. And we had a nice conversation, and I said, I'm hungry. I think I'm still on Dutch time.
This is like the time she and I would talk, or even at 2 a.m. for me. I'm a night person. I usually don't go to sleep until
Yes, that's right.
4:30, 5:30, or 6:30. Yeah.
Yeah, in Holland,
same
it
way.
was 6 hours ahead of you. So
Mhm.
normally I would talk to you. Yes, Linda.
Yep. So he didn't look at you as somebody forbidden to talk to?
Laureen said I'm the first XJW in his house.
Wow.
And we're actually, she
I'm
said
in
he
awe.
loves, before I came, she said, he misses the tea in Holland, the mixed teas we have. So she said, bring a box. So I had a big tea box made where a lot of tea bags fit in, and I wrote their names on it. And he loved it, and he said, "Oh, I bought a certain tea, and it made him think of his mother when he
From
was
home.
having tea with her always." So
Oh
that's
my
nice.
goodness. That's so awesome. So the reason I'm asking her this is because within this culture of Jehovah's Witnesses, if you leave the organization or if you get kicked out, people are not supposed to talk to us and they are supposed to shun us. So as she's talking, she's visiting her friend whose husband is still a Jehovah's Witness. He's guided to shun her, but he hasn't. So this is really great.
Yeah.
It's really great that that's
Yes.
not happening. Yeah. Did you
Like,
want to say something, Dallas?
and, yeah.
Well,
Hi, Dallas.
well, I would just want to greet
Purple,
everybody here. Well, hi there, Diana from Holland. Well, hi, Purple and Grey Wolf, Mark,
Hello.
Linda.
Hello.
Anybody? Anyone else here?
And Mark here is one of our friends from Australia.
They from
Yeah.
Australia? Australia? Well, I'm greeting you from United States of America.
Mhm. I think it's cool that we've got people like from all around the world in the community. It's a global community. It's awesome.
It really is. I can remember being in elementary school, maybe 3rd or 4th grade, and hearing my teacher talk about how this that we're doing right now will happen someday. And I could not see it. And today I'm living it. You know, like
Yeah.
back then, a computer like took up a whole room. And I didn't know how to think past that, you know. And here we are. This is just wow.
Well, I remember just in the 70s that they were talking about, you know, how we were going to have telephones that would have video screens so we'd be able to see
Right.
the people.
Right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not alone. Like even people like Bill Gates were kind of like, oh, the computer industry won't be that big kind of thing. Like a lot of people were wrong about how it would turn out. So you're definitely not alone. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
think
we-
anybody.
In
Yeah.
like 1964, an IBM representative said that he believed that the world's demand for computers would be 8 units.
Yeah, we have a phone in our pocket. It's that we can communicate with through with video conference, and we end up using it mostly to type messages to each other.
Yeah.
Mm.
And what's really amazing, like when I get to talk with Diana from Holland, it doesn't count as a long distance phone call like back in the day. If I
Yeah.
called somebody like from a different county, it was a long distance phone call that would cost so much more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't with today's smartphones, you know. And you know, the internet was originally used by the government before it was brought to us.
You know
Well, it
which
started with
department
the
used it?
government agent. What's
I
that,
don't.
Mark?
Do you know which government department started it in the United States?
I don't know.
I don't remember now.
Department of Defense. It was ARPANET. ARPANET was basically a system designed to keep nuclear facilities and nuclear launch pads up, like for nuclear weapons. If like they ever got hit, they could sort of fire them off from anywhere, kind of thing. That's what it was created to do.
Yeah.
Decentralized operations for nuclear weapons. And then educational systems picked it up and went, hey, this could be incredibly useful for sharing information across universities and things. And then it developed from there.
Yeah,
But
the
originally it was a
universities were
Defense Force
sharing,
thing.
using
we
it to
post-
share the research.
And now we
Yep.
post cats.
Yep,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Yeah, and I think all the navigation systems we have now in the cars and so.
Yeah.
I think that was originally also a military for military purpose.
I know that Australia came up with Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi protocols, and the hilariously, it was a bunch of scientists trying to send signals to see if they could detect microscopic black holes, and
Wow.
they found out they could interpret the signals on the other
Yeah.
side, and then used it to start data communications, which led to Wi-Fi. Stupidest origin story ever. Yeah.
They were Dutch. There was, I
No,
think,
that was
an
the
Englishman
Australian
and
team
a
that
Dutch
did that.
a Dutch guy. Yeah.
But to
Called
think that
I
your
will-
cell phone,
Oh yeah, it might have been a Dutch guy, but it was in like it was CSIRO.
Yeah, it was a group of I think 4 men. 2 started it, but there were Dutch person. Yeah, who were sort of invented the Wi-Fi. We thank the Wi-Fi because of them. Yes.
Mhm.
I'll probably fight you on that one.
Sapphire was stating, I heard that the JWs recently softened the rules for shunning slightly. Yes, that is the case, slightly. It's gone from shunning to, if someone shows up at a Kingdom Hall, which is the name of our churches, what we call our churches, when they show up, we get to greet them and say something like, I'm really glad you're here. That's it. That is it. Or you can invite them to the meeting, to the Kingdom Hall. That's the slight softening on the shunning. But what I have heard is people are going much further than that, and I'm actually glad to hear that. But
Let's see here. 1989 in Australia, a team of scientists began working on wireless LAN and technology. A prototype test bed for a wireless local area network was developed in 1992 by a team researcher from CSIRO in Australia, led by John O'Sullivan.
interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
CSIRO
Now-
is the Commonwealth Scientific the something research organization.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah. It's amazing how things will start off with one direction, and then we find out that there's other areas, like things branch out in areas we didn't even know that they could.
Well, I think the important thing to realize is the worldwide effort. Like, I think it was, I can't remember, somebody like whoever invented fiber optics was a damn genius. And I think that was like someone from Brazil or South Africa or something. I can't remember, some random place. It was really good though, because that really allowed us to do near present communications. Like the reason why we're talking right now is because we're using light to transmit the signal. And light is obviously the fastest thing. So it's just so cool to me anyway. Sorry.
It's pretty miraculous. It really is.
Well,
it
it
really
is. Just find it amazing that, your cell phone has more power than the computer that NASA used to put men on the moon.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. You're right. Which is, mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind-blowing that we have.
Yeah, you think about how fast the technology has evolved in just one human lifetime.
Yes. As a matter of fact, it's this kind of technology, too, that has brought together recovery groups of all kinds. In Facebook, there's all kinds of previous Jehovah's Witness groups. Some are, maybe on the followers of Jesus. Some of them are just kind of like, there's even an LGBTQ ex-Jehovah's Witnesses group, and just all these different groups where previous Jehovah's Witnesses will gather. The thing is we're all still pretty dysfunctional. So we trigger each other like a pinball machine, okay? So
yeah, but that's how you put the fun in dysfunctional.
Exactly. So once we realize it's to be expected, we just decide which hill we're going to die on. And usually I let stuff go until somebody's in my face telling me what my intentions are, and then decide to tell me off about it. Then that's the hill I'm going to inform them otherwise.
That's fair.
Yeah. But what I was saying was this technology has helped so many recovery groups, so many people that have the same interests, and, these groups that we get to get together through the internet, and yes, there's like an app called Meetup where we can actually meet up in person. But on that app, there's actually ways to meet up simply through the internet as well.
Yeah, I did some work for Recovering from Religion, and they did some really cool online stuff. So helping people sort of, and I highly recommend them if you are sort of,
I do too. I do too.
yeah, if you're deconstructing or if you're going through a hard time, because a lot of people go through this process of it is grief. It's like when somebody
you for
sort of
saying that,
leaves a
yeah.
religion, it is like grief, true grief of the
Mhm.
things that they have lost, and it's important to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same as breaking up a relationship.
Yeah, that can be a grieving process. Sure, absolutely.
That's very true.
Yeah,
Very
Laurie Jane told me, well, several times, during the 4 years that we know each other, that she only had online friends because everybody left her at the Kingdom Hall,
right.
And she said her only physical friend was a hairdresser here in this town.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really bad.
So,
And
Yeah.
you showed up in person, and
Yeah.
you guys are hanging out in person. Is this the
Yeah.
first time you got to hang out in person?
Yeah, we met on Monday, this
That is
Monday.
so beautiful, because they've been in touch for how many years now?
4 years.
See, isn't that just
Every
like, wow.
weekly 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we went to several Bible study groups with ex-Jehovah's Witnesses,
Mhm.
and so we went a little bit on another path,
Mhm.
shifting our beliefs, and then you find
Did
out
I influence you to do that?
that no, but if you
Yay.
did,
Yay! I'm so glad you said that, because I don't want to influence people. I want them to go on these different pursuits on their own,
well,
And
yeah, well, you're on your own journey, right? But
right.
I am so happy that you're still there.
Oh yeah.
Because what we found out is that a lot of these ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, especially in the
bad.
I don't want to offend anyone, but in the Christian groups, as they call themselves, there is still the same mindset as in Watchtower, because our beliefs shifted a little, or maybe a lot, but it shouldn't matter, because we're all human beings, and if we're friends, you're friends, and not because you believe something.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe that, then you're out,
Yeah.
So
Religions do.
there's still
do
the same
that,
mindset among a lot of ex-witnesses, and that's so we're happy we have each other.
There are like some people that are in mainstream Christianity that they'll be just fine talking to other Christians of other faiths, but it's not as dramatic as what you're talking about. And that's what the culture of Jehovah's Witnesses is like. If you don't see things the same way I do biblically, I can't associate with you any longer. Like, that is a deal breaker right there, a deal breaker. And it doesn't have to be. It just doesn't have to be.
No. And now I find religion, like overall, is very dividing. It's dividing people. Like if you're a Christian and you say, "Oh, you're a Christian. Oh, that's wonderful. What do you believe?" "I believe in the Trinity." "Well, I don't, so you're not with my group."
Yeah.
Right. Heretic.
Mhm.
Heresy.
That's the name she claims. Happy heretic.
Yep.
Yeah, I still believe.
I saw a cartoon like that, but there's these two people just walking up to each other on the street, and they're each wearing a cross, so they start talking and start comparing it. It's like, well, I believe in this, and he says, "Oh yes, we also believe in that," and then we believe in this, and I also believe in that, and this goes on through 8 or 9 things that they're all agreeing on, and then one of them says, "Well, what do you think about this?" And the other one says, "How dare you, filthy heathen!"
Yeah.
Well, it's odd. I mean, I don't mind. As an atheist, though, it's weird when they expect you to join their side of who the correct Christian is. Like, they'll sort of go, And this is just from my perspective, sort of, these just say they're evangelical, and they'll say, oh, but Catholics aren't Christian. And you're like, well, I mean, I just see them as Christian because they call themselves. And then they try to say, yeah, but we're the actual, and it's like, you do realize they're saying exactly the same thing to me. Like, they're saying exactly the same thing. So it's kind of hard to get them to understand that I don't have a dog in this race. Like, I can't tell who's the real Christian and who's a fake Christian. It's impossible for me. I've often used, like, well, if you think about Muslims, for instance, Sunni versus Shiite Muslims, how do you tell who's the real Muslim? You can't. You just call them all Muslims. Exactly. And I can't tell who's the real
enough
Christian.
about each one to know even the differences. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd be dumbfounded in
Yeah.
that conversation.
You know, when I started to wake up, I wanted to know things about Jesus. So I started to read in the Bible, beginning at Matthew, because Jesus always talks about love. And what he taught us is to look at the fruits that a church or, a person does. So
Right.
that's how you recognize someone true, or
Yeah, the
the
implication.
behaviors.
Yeah, their behavior is a reflection, or the fruits that are the behavior is a reflection of the fruit that is produced by certain trees or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember my friend Doreen in England?
Yes.
And she said, okay, if people believe, as long as they're happy there. But when people are, when they damage other people, that's horrible.
It is. Yeah, and so the more and more and more that the United States is having that Christian nationalism thing being influenced within the culture of the United States, the more dividing we are all going to be experiencing, more divide, because we've been experiencing it for quite a while, at least the last 10 years. At least the last 10 years.
I think that's the
it's
aim,
going to
be
get,
honest with you.
I do too. Divide and conquer. So it's super important that we, in spite of what we believe, that we do have some friends, that can be called upon, or that can call upon us, because isolating us as I was part of the Jehovah's Witnesses was a strategic thing to do to keep information away from me or the followers, So when Diana's talking about how she looked into Jesus, she's doing it in a different way than she did within that organization. The organization says, sure, you can research, but only research within our literature. Like, yeah, I know.
And they keep changing it.
Yeah. And I started to say this earlier and I forgot to. They've gone from Armageddon is just around the corner, like any day now, to it might even not come in our lifetime. That is so, wait, what? Because we always felt the good news will be preached in all the inhabited earth, and then the end will come. So just us going door to door is helping to bring about Armageddon, because it's helping to bring about paradise, how God's going to turn the world into paradise, like it kind of was back in the Garden of Eden, right? So that's like I was saying earlier, the definition of a doomsday cult is when we're doing something to help bring about Armageddon. MAGA Christian nationalism is to help bringing back Jesus's return. If we can get America to be Christian and be a theocracy, that's going to help Jesus return. And that's the idea. When Armageddon happens, it's the return of Jesus. So Christian nationalism falls under doomsday because it's helping to bring back Yes. Yes. So people that have the belief and faith in it probably won't be happy to hear me say this, but
Yeah, when I think of that, when Jesus says, "Follow me," he didn't mean to make a religion to control people, but to live and love as he did. He loved people, he loved God, whatever God is for anyone, but he loved people and he gave them dignity,
mm-hmm.
you know? So
Yes.
that's, we have to live as Jesus. And I can say I'm not waiting for him anymore, because I think we have to live like he did. And he never said, did he say to wait for him? I don't think so.
What I recall in the Bible is, that he claimed he will return, but until then, he's still going to be with us until the end of days.
Right. So we don't
And-
have to wait for him.
It's interesting because at one point he says that he would return before people in that generation will have tasted death.
Yes.
So it's important to realize that at one part it seems to indicate that he was going to be coming back within that generation. And obviously he didn't, but and that can be interpreted multiple different ways and things like that. But to me, it seems like it's sort of a failed prophecy to me.
Right.
Unless he did came back, or in some form,
Maybe.
but it has not been written in the books that we know, or it's been taken out.
What do you mean?
I think the Bible has been corrupted a lot by
It's
men.
definitely been edited.
It's
Definitely been edited. It's called interpolation. It's when sort of the church puts something into the book. For instance, the long ending of Mark. I think it's Mark. I can't remember the verse. I think it's 13, 14 maybe. There originally was 9 verses to it, but we thought there were more. We thought it was up to 20, and as it turns out, that was added later. 11 to 20 was added later. And so that's sort of cited as one of the parts where the church, and that's the stuff where, it says Christians can handle snakes and drink poison, and nothing can happen to them. So, we know that was added in later.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
but there's a whole group
I heard, I heard in
Go
the
ahead.
Vatican, they still have a lot of scriptures and books that actually belonged in the Bible, I think. A lot of scrolls that
I
they
wanted
kept.
to ask you, Diana, isn't there a term for what Mark was talking about? Like, our friend speaks of it. For that belief, like Jesus returned back then. Or he was supposed to return. I want to say Federism or something, and I know that's not the right word. There's a belief system for what Mark was talking about. Federism. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what it is.
Federism?
I think that's it. Yeah. Does that sound familiar, Diana? Our friend thinks that way. The one with the doggy and the thick hair.
Sure, you mean Shirley in England?
Yes.
Yeah. What's it called again? Yeah, she believes that the things that happened in Revelation already did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What does she call it?
I don't remember.
I think between Mark and I think Mark got it better than I did. Yeah, I think you're right.
What was it?
Federism.
Can you say? Yeah, Federism. There are people that just rings true to them.
Oh, yeah. Preterists?
Preterism, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, you have people that are partially preterists, and I think she's full preterist. She thinks all the things in Revelations already did happen. Well, in the beginning, it does say things will have to happen soon, right? So,
Yeah,
or there could be layers. I don't. Who knows?
exactly.
Who cares?
Or
We
it
live.
could
We live
just
now. Let's
not
live
be
and
right.
love now.
Say that again, Mark.
It
What
could
did you
just be wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. We could be wrong. We
Yes.
could be right. Um, and it's not a big deal to me anymore. It used to mean everything that I had to have accurate knowledge. This was a term the organization would use a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they wanted you
No,
to
it doesn't
believe
matter.
that listening to them was the only way that you could have actual knowledge.
Yes.
Yes, because receiving knowledge from elsewhere was pretty much false. There's this thing. There's a thing going on right now, and it's very much take your kids out of school and homeschool them.
Yeah.
Which might be a good idea. But let me just add,
Depends.
right? Let me just add that I kind of think that's associated with the Christian nationalism kind of mindset to isolate these children to be raised by, homeschooled by their parents. In today's society, parents, both of them, pretty much have to work to get by or even have an extra job, and if they have kids, then there's childcare pricing, so it's not feasible to be able to do that, even if that's something they want to do. But if somebody
Yeah.
can and wants to do it, great, But I think of it as being very much part of that Christian nationalism and keeping them out of, because they think everything's woke, woke and critical race theory and all this other, stuff, right?
I'm going to take off, people. It was lovely talking with you. I'm going to take off and get some stuff around the house done. But yeah, it was great
Okay.
talking to you. Real pleasure to meet you all. Take care.
was nice
Happy
having you.
holidays.
Bye, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
See you.
Thanks for
Well,
hosting
take
your
care
section
now.
of the marathon.
Take care now, Mark. Take care.
Yeah, so this was the first time Mark joined us, and I think he added to.
He's a
The
smart
show.
guy. I've seen some.
yeah.
I've seen some of his debates. He's a really intelligent guy.
And he was just delightful today. That was really cool of him to show up. I'm glad he did. See, that's the benefit. Is this called a marathon, Purple?
Yeah.
What is?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm thinking to myself, am I calling it something wrong?
Well, most people are calling it the Christmas Marathon, which was not my original name for it, but it's kind of like it's what most people were calling it. So I had to just several years ago just give up that that's what everybody was going to call it.
What were you calling it originally? Because I think I stepped in when it was already Christmas Marathon.
Yeah, I don't know. I had tried a couple of different things, but
Tell us about why you started doing this. What brought this about?
Mostly because I was stuck in that small town up in Michigan, and it's like I didn't have anything in common with anybody up there,
Okay.
and I couldn't even consider dating up there because it's like anything I did, my mother would know about it before I even got back to my apartment.
Oh my God.
You
Hey,
know,
God.
just because the gossip would move so fast there that I wouldn't have time to get home. So
That's too funny, but not. Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
so it's like, I had to be closeted about everything. I couldn't really,
Yes.
so I didn't talk to my neighbors. I couldn't really do anything. And, there was really just nothing else for me to do. That's how I got involved in the YouTube community in the first place. And
Okay.
I figured, well, if I'm going to be, sitting around home all night, why not see how many people we can, get together, and on the holiday we'll just all sit around together and, sit around on our
Mm.
computers, and we'll all drink and toast each other for the holiday.
Actually, that might be something I might have to keep in mind for my story, seeing as the village is only about 500 people.
Yeah. Well, it
Sorry.
was they called it a city because it was 3,000 people, but it was only 3,000 people because back in like 2008 it absorbed the two neighboring towns.
Did it share the same zip code?
No, they still wound up having 3 zip codes at that point, but
Okay.
but that's where both of my parents had originally been from, so it's like I was literally related to more than half the county within 3 generations.
Wow. Oh my goodness! Wow.
Uh,
Okay.
here's some no context for you. My dog just pulled the turtle out of a walrus.
Really?
No context. There you go. Okay, I'll give you the context. Her Christmas present was this little walrus, this plushy kind of thing, but you stuff it yourself, so it doesn't have any
Mhm.
stuffing in it. And I basically took all of the other plushies that she's destroyed, what was left of them, and put them in there. So she managed to shoot one small hole in the tail and pull what was left of a turtle out of it.
Well, that
Wow.
answers one of the questions I wasn't going to ask.
Yeah, there you go.
I was
was
wondering what a
resourceful.
turtle was doing inside a walrus in the first place, but
Maybe it was a Jonah story. Jonah, that I'm talking biblical. Jonah was eaten by a whale, stuck there for 3 days. Which, okay, I think the Bible still has some stories that can be used, and maybe some lessons that we could benefit from.
Yeah.
But I don't look at it at all in the manner I used to, as if it was the inerrant having no mistakes.
Yeah, you can actually find a lot of those stories in other religions as well too. So
Okay.
those morals that you get, or those things that you find good, and you can actually find those in other religions as well.
well, there's a lot of common themes that you'll find across
Yeah.
mythologies all across the world, even ones that had no contact with each other.
Yeah,
There are some basic, stories that there's some basic events every civilization is going to deal with, so they'll have their stories on how it was dealt with.
That, and you have the basic human experience too to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that we're born with a sense of what's right and wrong, or do you think that it had to be taught to us, like say from our parents, and then of course religion uses that mindset of how are people going to have any morals if they aren't involved in it?
I would say a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have, we are social animals, so there is going to be some level of ingrained, morality of how we interact with each other. But there's also going to be a cultural education to that on top of that.
I don't think we're born with any of it. I think, we learn all of it. Some of it we learn before we learn to talk. So, we're not really aware we're even learning it at that point. But, you put 2 babies in a crib and they might fight over the toys. And as they get a little older, they may realize that, it's easier not to fight over the toys, and it's easier if we just share things.
Well, I'm just looking at it kind of from an evolutionary point of view and how social animals work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because we'll have this thing where we're going along in life and something will affect our conscience to either do something or not do something. And is that nature or nurture? And people, like between that first 5 to 7 years, if they don't have a adult to bond with, a caretaker or a parent, it's hard for them to have a good sense of self. And they end up it's a theory that they can grow up and become kind of empty inside and have that mindset of everything outside of them makes them who they are rather than having a good sense of self, to stand in.
Yeah.
Because when so a kid becomes a toddler and starts walking and gets hurt and comes back to the caretaker, and the caretaker will say things to them like, oh, did you hurt your knee? And so they're labeling the things that the child is experiencing, and so they get to understand what's going on within them. But if they're left alone too much, and they don't get to have these things brought out to them, they don't get to have that sense of centeredness on their own. That's my theory.
Well, I think it took me longer to learn that kind of thing just because I was left alone so much when I was, like too young to go to school.
Right. Yeah.
Before I was like 6 or 7, I was alone most of the time.
Okay.
Which is one of the things that my family still can't seem to comprehend, that being the youngest, I was the only one in the family who ever experienced actually being alone at that age.
Yeah, because the older ones would have had somebody around them.
Yeah, that there
Younger
was always
and
somebody
older.
else. Yeah, so I don't think any of them really even comprehend the idea that, I was alone for much of the first 5 years of my life.
Wow. Okay.
Because all of them were, they constantly had a younger sister or brother following them around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And would you say, like, when you say your parent, like, so your parents weren't around, like, were they working or?
Yeah, well, my mother was a reporter for the local paper. So, she had her office in one room of the house there.
Okay.
But it's like she was always, in there, following up leads, making phone calls, typing up stories.
There,
but she
not
didn't
there.
really interact with me. It's always that she was in there and the door was closed and I wasn't supposed to disturb her.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Matter of fact, that takes me back to, I don't know if you guys remember this, but my goodness, about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, there was this guy. It was during that time when everybody was sheltering in place. Okay. So there was this guy filming from his home about whatever. And, he probably used to be in a studio.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, one of his kids comes through the bedroom, just being her normal kid self in her home as she's used to doing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just chomping around. And then the baby brother or sister comes in, still in their walker, bangs the door open. And his little sister's following the other one. Dun, 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 dun. And he's watching. He's still talking away. Next thing you know, the mother shows up like, oh my God. She went to go get the kids out of there. And because she was like, she was Asian, and the person doing the news report or some kind of a report was Caucasian, later they were asking if that was his nanny, but it was his wife. Yeah, it was his wife. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was just the funniest thing that, oh my goodness.
I didn't see that particular one, but there were a number of stories like that came out in that time.
Yes.
Just of people who were trying to film TV shows from their home and wound up with, pets or their children interrupting them.
I just make it part of the show.
Yeah, today that's part of the show. Matter of fact, my adopted son, Wally, has a channel called JW Thoughts, and he loves animals. So his cat is always between him and his camera. Not always, but a lot. The cat will just jump on there and be turning around as he's filming, and it's just we're used to the cat doing that. It's just part of him being at the house and filming.
And
Yeah, well,
speaking
it's one of
pets-
our other friends who's often on our show. Goes under the handle Sinister Porpoise, and that a
cat
lot
butt.
of times her cat jumps up on the desk and then putting her butt in the camera.
Look at my
Totally.
butt.
Isn't that a trip? Because that's how they'll say hello to each other, you
Yeah.
know, to someone.
Speaking about pets,
Okay.
my dog Molly just came in and say hi and get
Hi,
pet.
Stephanie.
Uh-huh.
Stephanie just
Oh, hey,
joined
Stephanie.
us.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm
It's
okay.
good to see you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
well,
just giving
you know,
Ethan a brushing here because he
good
was
to be out-
struggling with Mad.
Sorry, we're all
Good to hear.
talking over you, and the time is there's a bit of a
That's
drag
okay.
or lag or something. Let me try this again. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
Hi.
Let me switch cameras because I've got the same
Okay.
problem I had earlier.
Okay. Yeah, when she gets back, well, I'll introduce her to Diana and stuff. So yeah, and Dallas, because I'm not sure if she.
I actually didn't know
I've
that you
met
had met Stephanie.
Yeah, Stephanie and I have met, and
Oh.
it was not under the best circumstances. A friend of mine named Dan Clark, who is a previous Jehovah's Witness. It was a bad night.
It was bad. Yeah, that
It
was
was
bad.
so bad. His heart was in a good place, but he was saying it all really wrong and had no freaking clue.
Ah,
And I was like, uh-oh. But when I corrected him, Dan, he would try to adjust. Like he didn't take what I was saying as like he was willing to adjust, you know. I talked to him the next day, and his wife was telling me he's one of those people that once he gets on a roll, she has to reel him back in and all this other stuff. But it was bad.
It wasn't the best encounter I've ever had with somebody.
He was misgendering her
Cringe.
most of the
calm down.
time, and his whole thing
But-
was, his intention was to say, listen, what they're doing with transgender people is wrong. I mean, that's what he was trying to say, but he kept the way he delivered it, it was just lack of experience, you know.
mhm.
That's
Well.
yeah. Well, and my apologies for taking great offense, but God damn
I
it.
No, it was one of those nights, and sometimes it's just things will irritate me more than other nights, and it was cool. You and I talked after this show too, and that I
We
was
did.
really thankful for that too. So yeah, what's been going on? with you?
Anyway,
Oh, I said I would introduce
Um,
you. We have Dallas here and Diana here, which are previous Jehovah's Witnesses, and then we have
my
Purple
sympathies.
and
Oh, I know Purple and I know Mage very well.
good.
I'm sorry about that.
Don't be sorry, Mage. I mean,
I'm joking.
Yeah, you can't help it. You're a great wolf. I mean, what the hell, No, I have tomorrow. I have tomorrow off, so it's
Oh, that's
consequence.
wonderful.
I'm awake. Yeah,
Oh, very cool.
I want to thank my boss for like Christmas and the day after, and New Year's and the day after. It's like, this is good. I'm in so much better place this year than I was last. So I
Oh,
guess
that's wonderful to hear. Why do you think that is?
dumb luck.
Okay.
I'm glad you're doing better.
I think a lot of life is dumb luck, to be honest.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm better, and I expect that maybe in a couple of days, maybe 3, 4, I don't know, it'll all go south again. It'll all
hope
go to shit. It'll all go to shit. It's like that's the way things roll. But
You know what, though, for you to notice the difference that this year has been better for you than last year is really huge, I think. For whatever
Mm.
reason, I think that's wonderful.
a lot of
Yeah.
it has to do with money. A lot of it has to
Okay.
do with an actual job and a roof over your head. A lot of it has to do with actually basic things in life
Right.
that make a
Yeah,
difference.
having
So
income and a place to sleep makes a big difference.
it makes a big difference. Yeah.
Maslow's hierarchy.
Yep.
Yeah, if
The
you don't have
hierarchy
that,
of needs. Yes, indeed. The
if
hierarchy
we don't
of
have that
needs.
bottom
That's-
part, it's just hard to function at all.
I
Well,
think
You
yeah.
know?
If you
And I
don't have
think
a safe place to sleep and know you're going to have food every day, you really can't think about anything beyond that until you get that taken
Correct.
care of.
That's
I
exactly what
think
I'm
that's
saying.
what I think that's what a lot of particularly high control religious groups try to fill in is like to actually twist the hierarchy of needs to make you need them,
Yeah.
put them at the top of the triangle, and that's a pernicious. It's a pernicious thing. And it's basically what all high control mechanisms strive for. Just
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
us at the top
A lot of high
and
control
forget
groups, Yeah.
and forget other people.
a lot of high control groups try to convince you that, as long as you do everything we tell you, we'll take care of your basic needs. But without us, you're not going to have that covered.
Right.
Yep. Like an abusive spouse. You'd be nothing without us.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. I made you what you are.
Yep.
Yeah, if you leave the group, where are you going to sleep? What are you going to eat?
Yeah. Those are those thought stopping cliches. As a matter of fact, ours was, where else can you go?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we're taught everything else is under the influence of the devil,
Yep.
there really is no other options. There is no other options. And the term, where else can you go, is actually taken from scripture when Jesus was talking, I don't even remember
Yeah.
to who, and Jesus was questioning, are you going to leave me too? And the person he was talking to said, to whom else would we go, to? So that's a case of them basically bastardizing scripture.
What is the name of the translation of the biblical translation that Jade always used? New World Translation, is that it?
Yes, you got that perfectly. Yes.
And you quoted that, which because I don't think that's the actual same phrase in other translations, but anyway, I can't
Yeah.
recall exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I've got my
it's-
Bible sitting here somewhere, but
Okay.
Yeah, the problem where it fell apart for me was that, I got into that list of all the rules and demands that the Catholic Church had. And then I was like, well, this is what you're telling me is going to happen if I align with Satan. And actually, I don't think what you're telling me is going to be a better deal than that.
I think the Catholics are actually pretty, compared to the Jehovah's Witnesses. I think the Catholics
Well,
are
yeah.
pretty goddamn liberal. I think.
Oh, yeah. They're
Right,
certainly
they do
not
look
as
liberal.
controlling as the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Mormons or a number of other groups.
Yeah,
They-
and
they
you
are.
and you get out of you get a get out of jail free card because you
Right.
can go to confession, and there you go. It's like, well, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. And,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but if you think about it, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned is exactly the same as I'm sorry, Daddy, for I've been a naughty girl.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you say say 2 Hail Marys, say 5 Hail Marys, and 2 Our Fathers. And, that's what
Yeah,
And-
well, and I did all that, before my teenage years even, that I would, go to the confession, say the prayers the priest told me to say. And
Oh, can you do it? Can you still do it? Can you do the Hail Mary?
if I tried to, it would probably start coming back, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like I don't really want that brain
act-
worm in my head again, so I'm
it's
not
actually
going to too much.
it's actually really funny. The whole thing is kind of
Yeah, it is amazing. You probably had that something has triggered, a song from when you were like 6 years old, and then you can't get it out of your head the rest of the day, even though it's
I
something that
never
you've hadn't
promised
thought
you
of
a
for
rose
decades.
garden. Yes. Or
Yeah.
leaving on a jet plane.
Yeah, maybe.
Man.
Yeah, no, I mean, even going back before that, like the Sesame Street songs,
Oh,
like
okay.
those will come back to you.
I actually
Somebody
did
come
used to
and
watch.
play.
I actually
Somebody
did
come
used to
and
watch some.
play today.
I was out doing door to door with my parents. We didn't.
Yeah, that's true. You
Didn't get to
probably
watch
weren't
it.
allowed to watch those shows.
I don't know if I wasn't allowed to or there just wasn't enough time. I can't recall.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch any Sesame Street, Dallas? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have read materials, books, and
Yeah.
it can be fun.
Well, I was the target audience. I was 5 years old when Sesame Street premiered.
They even had records at one time in history. Because I've
Yep.
seen records.
Oh yeah, I remember when we got the first record of Sesame Street songs. And with my sisters that we practiced those until we could perform every song on that album.
Wow.
It's
think I
before
could
me,
sing
but I've
the-
seen
I think I could sing the entire Sesame Street intro anyway.
What a trip.
And Rubber Ducky made it up onto the Billboard Top 10 list.
I couldn't do
Rubber
the
Ducky?
entirety of Rubber Ducky. I couldn't do that.
Rubber
remember
Ducky,
Disco Duck.
you're the one.
Sunny day, keeping the clouds away. Da, 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 da,
Takes me
where
there.
we'll be. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
Street. Yes.
Well, you make that right, Albuquerque.
We'd rather listen to that and see that than that Caleb and Sophia listen, obey, and be blessed. Listen, obey, and be cursed.
I've seen Caleb and Sophia, and it's
I know,
good
right?
production, but it's
Yeah.
horrible shit. Jesus.
It is bullshit right there.
Yeah, the lessons that they're teaching
Well,
kids with that.
I have to take a potty break. Can I be right back? And you all just
Absolutely.
Linda,
yes.
Linda,
You know,
I'm going to sleep, Linda.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you for showing up, Diana.
Yeah,
Wow.
sure.
Enjoy
Good night,
your time.
Diana.
Good night.
And thank you for
Right.
being with us tonight.
Yeah, I love you all.
I'll be back ASAP.
I'll call you. I'll call you sometime soon, Linda. I sent you some pictures and a video
Okay. That'd be great.
from me sitting behind Laurie Jane on the Harley Davidson. Bye.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Carry on however you want to. I'll be back.
So there was Caleb and Sophia, and there was also Gumby, which was sort of a not. I don't know where the hell that stuff came from, but oh my goodness, that Gumby was a.
Yeah, I did not like Gumby at all. I remember
Yeah.
being on, and that was when I would have to change the channel on.
Well, we always watch. You always watch Freaked, where it's the only movie you'll see he masturbating while flicking you off.
I never saw Gumby jerking off. I mean wow, that's a concept.
Yeah.
That's a crazy fucking concept. I'll tell you.
Well, it just proves that Rule 34 predates the internet.
Okay, fair enough.
And Mr. T as the bearded lady.
Huh? that was over my head.
Freaked. It's a movie.
I
Okay.
think I saw a movie of Mr. T and Dragon. I didn't know where that had come from.
Yeah, we'll
That
have to watch it
seems
sometime.
that seems odd. But sure.
It's a very ridiculous, over the top B movie.
Oh, Yabakash.
In fact, I believe you can actually find it on YouTube for free.
Probably.
Yeah, well,
There's a lot of things you'll find on YouTube, and they'll take them down as soon as they find them, and you look again a couple of weeks later, they'll be back again.
Yeah.
the amount of deep fakes on YouTube has absolutely skyrocketed lately, and it
Well, yeah.
really is freaking me out. It's just, oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, now that everybody has access to AI for,
Right.
No,
paying a
Actually-
subscription.
yeah, they've got the full movie here. It's been up for 6 years.
Well, some of them will stay up until somebody complains about them.
Kind
Well,
of surprised it stayed up because apparently YouTube is offering it on their own thing.
I guess YouTube's. It would seem that their TOS is basically saying, as long as you say in the description of the video that it's AI generated, then it's okay to post it, which is really freaky.
Really?
It's like, yeah, because you can click on these things and it will literally tell you this is fake.
I think that's fair.
I'm not
as long as
sure it
you're-
is, though.
Well, as long as you're getting it up front that this is
If-
AI
if-
generated. No.
Well, yeah, but if I am, back in the days when we actually cared about law, you can't use my likeness without my consent. That's why, you need to have if you're running, like, for example, a sailing program, you need to have people sign a release so that if you take videos of kids in boats, you can use that footage. I mean, it's like, I don't like the idea that AI can just take my image and use it without my consent. If they're gonna be making money off of it, I either want to cut or tell them to go fuck themselves.
Hmm.
I don't think it's fair at all.
That
Because-
gets into a little bit different thing than.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, you can generate AI images without using somebody's likeness.
Well, sure, you can do that, but when the deep fake things are actual people, like, that these are actual human beings that are whose likenesses are being manipulated to put words into their mouths that they never said.
Yeah,
And
and they're just working that out in the courts about,
right.
yeah, what about these deep fakes that have somebody, in a porno movie, and that's not something that person would have ever done.
No, there are deep fakes of Heather Cox Richardson, of Robert Reich, of a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
And they look absolutely real. But if you click on the description, in the description it says this is AI. And to me, that's not enough. You don't get to use somebody's likeness and make shit up and put it into their mouths. So it's not fair, in my view.
Well, I mean, there's already been that thing about, who it's okay to publish pictures of, and the understanding that, celebrities and politicians have a certain public presence, so you can't expect them to sign a waiver every time somebody snaps a picture of them off the street.
Yeah.
So it's just another question of where do we draw the line with the new, the new technology.
Yeah, but it's always been that the line has always been you can't use that there's an implicit copyright on the use of your image or your material to do stuff, and there's always been that line, and that line seems to be getting crossed more and more and more.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary. I mean, maybe an AI will generate a picture of Purple sleeping.
What training did it work off of?
If you want to dig hard enough, there's a few of them out there on the internet, but
Really? Oh, really? Now you've let the cat out of the bag, Purple. What the hell? You should have kept your mouth shut.
well, no, because then that video of me on the internet won't be out there.
I can't imagine. Is there video of the actual Purple Rhymes Orange? I don't know. I mean, I can think of exactly twice. I think.
Yeah.
That you've been
Well,
live.
It's a matter of whether or not you can connect any of my, any of my previous handles over the years.
Yes. This is true.
But yeah, I mean, there's pictures of me out there from, when I was active in the pagan community, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that since I've actually, started my channel on YouTube, I think there's been at least 3 live streams that I showed my face on.
Yeah, that's I can
3 or 4 times
remember
over 7 years.
I
or
can
8 years
remember
now.
2.
Yeah.
I can remember 2, but I can't remember.
Well, and you saw me a couple other times that,
Right.
like a couple of times I put on my camera after we had canceled the live feed, and it was just 3 or 4 of us in the back room.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, my cameras seem to be fucking up, and I don't know why. I was lagging badly, and then everything got sorted out on the line stream earlier. But
Here you go. I'll put my camera on for you now.
oh Jesus! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't!
There you go.
Do it!
There's my camera. It just happens to be pointing at an oxygen drill.
Nice.
I actually don't have a camera.
Yeah, my camera's actually laying down under my desk right now, so.
Okay, I'm gonna try this again. It's like Jesus Christ, what the fuck is up with this?
Oh yeah.
I've gotten to the point where at least I can use this. I can use StreamYard again. I don't know what exactly happened, but
yeah, your video image is just kind of jerky.
is doing all kinds of crazy shit, right? I understand.
Well,
I
it's
don't
just
understand
it's like
why.
you freeze for a second and then you jump to another pose and you freeze again.
Yeah, and so StreamYard still got all kinds of crazy shit going on because I did fix it, but I just.
Of course, with just that map behind you that's got. I assume those are like the wind charts or something behind you there. Yeah.
Wait.
It makes you look like you're a person doing the nightly weather.
Well, I am a person doing the nightly weather. If you want me to do the nightly weather right now, because it's like 13 degrees here in Portland, Maine, and there's 10 inches of snow on the ground, and I'll just fade away, and now you can see a port of. Now you can see a chart of Portland Harbor.
Tonight will be dark.
Tonight will be dark.
Tonight's forecast, dark, continuing mostly dark, followed by widely scattered light in the
Yeah. As the Fireside Theater put it, big light in the sky slated to appear in east.
We're getting an echo from somebody now.
It's
big light.
It's our
Big
host.
light and
It was me
Uh,
because
Oh, okay.
I'm
brilliant.
sorry.
Linda's back. No, that's fine.
I'm so sorry.
Everybody
didn't
hide it.
realize those were echoes.
Everybody
I know,
hide it.
right?
Stop what we're doing. She's back.
Late.
Right?
Oh no!
Funny.
Remember, if she gets sued for this stream, none of us know what they're talking about.
Right.
Exactly.
I have no idea.
Everybody remember your alibi.
I wasn't there, but she was. Yes, I was.
Hey, that's been my holiday safety brief that I've been giving.
Right on.
Don't add to the population. Don't subtract from the population. Don't wind up in the newspaper, hospital, or jail. If you do wind up in jail, make sure you establish dominance immediately.
Right.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So, Dallas, how did your day go today? Did you do anything Christmassy, or were you relaxing, or what did you do today, Dallas?
Well, we stayed at home and just went over, gave a little gift to a next door neighbor, something small, and spent some time. And
That's
just what we had for dinner, it was a little curry, some paneer curry, such as paneer with the Indian butter sauce. That's with some rotis or chapatis, Indian tortillas.
Oh, wow. That sounds really
If you-
delightful.
I thought, well, don't need to make nothing big, but sometimes if there was a big feast, I'd be happy to eat it.
Me too.
I think you enjoy listening to certain Christmas carols, which I've looked on YouTube and found some great ones on there.
I like the Carpenter's chestnuts roasting on an open
Chestnuts
fire.
roasting on a,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's different ones on that have their version.
Mm-hmm.
How about silver bells? Johnny-
Silver balls. Silver
How-
balls.
How about Johnny?
You're as creative as our Dallas. Yes.
How about Johnny Mathis?
Okay.
I love Johnny Mathis. Has some of the great ones. And that touch hands on Christmas morning, touch hands on 12 Days of Christmas. That starts with Partridge in a Pear Tree and
Yep.
to 12 drummers drumming.
Earlier on, we had two people in the side chat who were doing different versions of the 12 Days of Christmas at the same time.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Really?
And I'd rather not have my chestnuts roasted on an open fire. Thank you.
Jack Frost nipping at the gin.
We're a creative bunch, aren't we? I love it.
I think that Jimmy Dean has a Jingle Bells, where he has children in the group Jingle Bells.
Well, then there's the ever popular Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Yeah, but I've got a different version of that too. It's the
Yeah.
reindeer got run over by my grandma.
Well,
I in those certain
Yeah.
hey,
songs.
listen.
That sounds like what my grandma would do.
Well,
would
my-
do.
My grandma totaled her International Harvester Jeep by hitting a deer coming home one night.
Well, yeah. Yeah. That's never mind a reindeer. I mean, reindeer and deer are bigger than deer. like they're rather
No, actually,
large.
reindeer are smaller
Welcome, Matthew.
animals.
Really?
They're stouter. They're a heavier
good to see
build,
you.
but they're actually shorter than regular deer.
No shit.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. No,
I
thank you
always
for.
thought
if you look up a reindeer race, you can find some on YouTube, and
Okay.
they're actually like more the size of donkeys.
Look, I
that
don't go for reindeer games. Purple. I'm sorry.
What?
Just
Well,
By the
that's why
way,
in the-
everyone, well, Matthew just joined us. So, Matthew, this is
hi, Matthew.
Stephanie.
Howdy.
You've seen Purple. You know,
hello.
Yeah,
Dallas.
you guys have got the party
Well,
started.
Well, how about some songs by those curls by Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Dean Martin had his own.
Dean Martin and
Well,
Frank
Dean Martin
Sinatra.
had a very shiny nose. So let's be
Was this a
honest.
Rat
Frank's
Pack kind
Actually,
of thing?
both of them did.
Were those two part of the Rat Pack? Remember they had a Rat Pack
Yep.
going. I know with
Yeah, I forget who all was in that.
Sammy
it was
Davis
Dean
Jr.
Martin, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, and who's the other guy? I can't remember who the other guy was. But
I know.
anyway, yeah,
Wolf's gonna Google it for us. Google it for us. I know it.
let's make
Yes.
it happen.
What
So
was the
Matthew,
question?
I'm also
Who
doing.
was in
I'm
the Rat
also
Pack?
getting to be part of the marathon that Purple puts together, to where the whole globe is covered. So my 3 hours tonight is including being in
Ooh,
this
you're doing
marathon,
three.
as well as previous witnesses or present witnesses, and so we've
Yeah.
got a nice flavor going on tonight.
Well, in a half hour, we'll be handing it off to, in the side chat there, you see Detroit Atheist Queen.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
That's our friend Kelly. She's going to be taking over from you in half an hour.
Okay. Would you say that, like, would you say your community that has joined you, Purple, are pretty much mostly atheists or agnostics, or
Yeah,
is it a variety?
Mostly atheist.
Okay.
Just because that's kind of the group that I gravitated towards, and since I was watching so many people who were like doing Bible analysis and things like that, that's just the community I wound up growing into.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Every time I've met one of your friends that are your atheist friends, they've always been super decent and kind to me. Like,
Then they
just
met me.
people. Yeah, even you, darling. Just really good people. The ones
Well,
I've met that are friends
The
of yours.
ones that aren't like that don't tend
Never
to stay
trust
in the
a
community
wolf.
for very long.
Yeah,
What
I
is
hear
it, a
what
bit
you're
of a
saying.
grey
Come
area?
on.
especially when dressed in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
I can herd your
Yeah.
sheep.
Oh, good shepherd. Okay. Yeah.
We are at that misbehaving hour. I can tell. It's going to get fun now.
Well, earlier I sort of, I was hearing Purple saying how to stay out of jail or something like that. I don't know. Was
Yep.
that
Yep. Don't end up in the newspaper, hospital, or jail.
all right?
I used to tell my kids, if I end up in jail,
Yeah.
I'm going to find me the biggest dyke in there and make her my woman right away
Well,
because I will need that protection.
Sloth Girl's son has a big problem now.
Oh, really?
Well, since his mom's not around, if he winds up in jail, he's got to call his sister.
Oh, okay.
And she's going to want a full accounting before she decides whether or not to bail him out.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually,
Man,
from what I
oh,
hear,
man,
your
oh,
better
man.
bet is to actually try and keep to yourself as much as you can. Don't even look at the other inmates.
Yeah. You see, I don't know jail or prison etiquette. I'm telling you, I don't know. What I do know, and here, Southern California, from what I understand, they're called blue banders. Like they have a band that gets put on them like when you get into a concert or something that says you've already paid. It's a blue band that they get put on them, and they're called blue banders, and that means that they're pedophiles, and they become a target. They become
Yeah.
a very bad target, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think I could handle prison because I don't even understand protocol of just being generally out in public.
Me too.
I think
You
I
know,
could,
just with my autism, I don't read people's signals well at all, and you know, anything that is not stated very bluntly, I'm just not going to catch.
So
I
just
understand
stick me
this.
in solitaire, where you can find me for my remainder of my stay there. I'll be fine.
Yep.
Really, you think so?
I don't
Oh, yeah.
know.
Wow.
There's
Yeah.
another great cartoon, the Beauty and the Beast thing. You know, and the Beast is, you know, talking to this person who's their new prisoner, and the person's saying, "You mean I can stay here without paying rent?" And the Beast is like, I don't think you're understanding the situation. And the food is free, but you're not getting this hostage thing. And there's a library. Sign me up, roomie.
Yeah.
A library, right? That's very cool. My niece happens to be a library, works at a library.
Yep.
She's a total geek, and it's like a wonderful place for her to work. I'm so happy for her.
I have valid library cards for 5 different library systems in 3 different states.
That makes you an official geek or nerd, or what would that say about you?
It's just the importance I put on libraries that wherever I travel, I have to be able to.
That's very cool.
Well,
I'll tell you what,
that's-
audiobooks have really made a difference in my
Oh,
life.
I mean, getting so into audiobooks lately.
Have you read any good books lately, Matthew?
I am at kind of like a cognitive threshold, just full of processing information. I think Deepak Chopra.
Uh-huh.
But the reason for that is he's been doing commentary on artificial intelligence. And the other thing is he set up an AI that's independent of the mainstream AI. And it goes into a friend of mine, the archive of thesis going back to 1970. So it's almost like having access to all your email or all your correspondence and work over many, many years. And when I engage with it, it's like engaging with the person. It's incredible, even down to things that they forget. Like I asked a question about it was about spiritual development. It was about mindsight, because I wanted to get into things from Paul Smith and his take on mindsight. So I engaged with this AI, and I asked a very specific question about Jean Houston, who's into human potential movement. So she's the kind of person that, you know, who was it? Purple was mentioning autism in a prison situation. But she's the kind of person that you can spend time with her and she can help free up certain blockages. And if, say, for instance, you've got a little bit of an affinity to play the piano, she can unlock, I don't want to say idiot savant type. That's a misapplication. But she would be able to bring out some of your natural talents and amplify. I don't know if that makes sense. So Deepak Chopra, yeah.
I actually have a friend who's a savant, an amazing piano player. He is amazing. He's actually a previous Jehovah's Witness.
I have a friend who is a savant with a very unique talent set.
Yeah.
You can give him a Lego piece and he can list off to you every set that piece appeared in.
Really?
That's an interesting
Yeah, it's
talent.
like he's got the entire Lego catalog in his head.
Okay, I'm speaking of Keith Bush. That's what I'm speaking of, Keith Bush. So if you ever run into him, amazingly talented. But to know what Lego piece can be used and how many, wow.
Well, and, then he can turn it around a while and examine, the size of the printing and the mold markings on the bottom, and he can probably tell you what year that piece was manufactured. Even though it's like the basic 2x4 brick, has been in every Lego set ever, he can pick that down to a range of like 5 years that mold was used, and then they had slightly changed the mold.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So you asked the AI, and then where did this go, Matthew, after that?
Yeah, so already just in the discussion, just from what I'm hearing here, you've got persons with these incredible abilities. Like one of our students, one of our Bible students, has a photographic memory, for instance. So if there's a document or something like that, their recall is absolutely incredible. Some people say, oh, well, this is due to a damaged brainstem or a pathology. But I'm not quite convinced about it, that it's always pathological. Sometimes I just think, well, you've just got persons that have that predisposition, see, or those talents. And you talk about all of these systems. What is it, Trump putting together $500 billion in this AI system? But in the African society, if you're practicing Ubuntu, which is unification of people, you now have access to all of these talents. You don't need a computer. You just need a good relationship with the person who's got this photographic memory, or you've got this person who's got this affinity for music. It's been unlocked, or this person who's got an affinity to be a healer. So that's kind of the idea of the human potential movement. And yes, though Deepak Chopra has done this incredible demonstration with AI, actually it's all there organically with all of us.
Okay. Wow, that's deep. That's
Well,
deep.
that's a nice point right there, Linda and Matt. And about that piano, I wonder why he did it later in life, learn an instrument. Maybe he wasn't allowed to, because it had to be focused on the ministry and preparing for those stupid meetings right there.
So, so the
Sorry,
context,
yes.
the context that Dallas is speaking of is within this organization. We've seen videos that are
Hinder your
prompting-
opportunity.
Yes, they prompt us to, rather than pursue self-interest in maybe a musical instrument or sports or something else like that, it's to promote us to be in the ministry, which is the going door to door.
Serving the damn organization.
And yeah, Dallas has his unique way of he like takes words and calls them something else instead of Watchtower.
Oh, Witch Tower is one.
Witch Tower, yeah, the Witch Tower. Yep. So the person you were talking about regarding being able to play the piano, was this someone you knew, or somebody she opened up the possibilities for this person to play the piano better, or?
I don't know how I can. So I think on air I have to be careful with names. I have to be because these are people with PhD. So you get names of because I heard you talking about songs. So the Wham came to mind. What was it? Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. The very next day, you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there was that one. so there was all of these people that I think about in mainstream. I was thinking of Blondie. I was thinking of Tina Turner. And you talk amongst this group of psychologists and PhDs, and it's incredible how it's all networked together. And they say, oh, yes, I remember them in the 70s, and they had trauma, and, you know, they're talking like this and resolved it. I think Tina Turner's more of a well-known one because she's out there and her story is out there. So I think we can talk respectfully about that without too much of a problem. But she resolved her trauma, or it was more manageable. And so one of the ways that, again, I don't know if it was purple. Somebody was talking about talking with other people or being in prison. Was it you, Mage Grey Wolf, being in solitary confinement?
Yeah, that's me.
And so, what was it you? Solitary confinement?
Yeah, it's if you put me in jail, put me in solitary confinement, I'll be fine.
Yeah. So Gene Houston talks about polyphrenia, not schizophrenia.
You've never been there, I hope.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Just wondering, you know.
From my studies, which is, you know, my studies, it takes about 15 or 20 minutes for you to start hallucinating if you get put in a hole. That's what I've read. But maybe that doesn't happen to everybody if you're.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Okay. Okay.
So your positive take on that is Count of Monte Cristo. This abysmal situation, be it from spiritual abuse and creating a mental prison or actual literal solitary confinement, whatever it is. I think you had, was it Muhammad Ali, and they talk about, oh, well, if you upset people with your free speech, you're going to create one massive problem and get thrown into prison. And he says something like, I've been in a prison all my life. What are you trying to take away? Mm-hmm. And he's referring to spiritual abuse or racial problems that creates the same kind of spiritual abuse in that situation. And so you have somebody like Gene Houston
literally
talks about
referring
polyphrenia in a positive way. Because it's
literally referring
I think Stephanie was trying to say something to you, Matthew.
Sorry, there was such a lot of noise I couldn't navigate. Sorry about that, Stephanie.
He's literally referring to the prison of American racism. That's the prison he's referring to in that case. That's I've been in a prison all my life. Is referring to the systematic degradation of Black Americans for his whole life. That's the prison he was referring to.
He was someone who was a conscientious objector.
Correct.
And he actually used one of the lawyers from the Watchtower.
Really? I didn't know that. That's interesting. Holy shit.
Because
oh my. Yeah.
It was Matthew, it was that one guy that they made him the governing body, and then they took him off the governing body because he wasn't one of the anointed. I'm going blank. He was a lawyer.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that? That he ended up
vaguely.
Okay, it'll come to me later.
Yeah, I do remember it, but it's one of those things I have to look up. It's not on.
Yeah, on the tip of your brain. Yeah.
Stephanie, apologies if talking over you. I actually hear it sort of catching up later, so it's not a deliberate.
Well, it's a delay.
So
I mean,
sorry
there's
about
always
that.
There's always a delay in the internet. It's like it's no worries. Don't worry.
I think they call it a latency, but it catches me and it's very embarrassing. So sorry about it.
Don't worry about it. Anybody who's been here long enough, it's like, yeah, well,
it happens.
How come you're not listening to me? It's like, because because things are slow sometimes.
And,
That's all
and
it
Matthew
is.
is in.
And it could
Matthew's
also
in-
be the brain too trying to catch up, you know.
Well, I was having all kinds of trouble with my effing camera. It's just, so many things. It looks like my camera's now smooth. So
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it's working now.
it's
Very
fucking
nice.
crazy. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. And Matthew is in South Africa.
Well,
And
there you
so-
go.
No, I'll
And
do it.
Matthew is very fuzzy too.
Evidently, yeah.
In more ways
Okay.
than one.
Well, when I
Oh,
first came in, Linda
Fuzzy
was
Wuzzy
Got the
wasn't there.
colours, too.
Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. However, in your case, I can tell you may be a bear, but you have plenty of
Oh,
hair.
no.
So that's the way it goes.
Stephanie, I'm slightly envious of your hair. I'd love those silver locks there.
Hey, look, I'm just fucking lucky. my mom had less hair than I do at my age, so I feel. And I don't know how this worked out because it's genetically it was not supposed to be this way. But I'm happy with where I am. And if I was bald as a cue ball, I'd still have to be happy with where I am. Like nothing I can do about it.
Well, your hair is a blessing.
Indeed.
As a hairdresser, I cannot tell you how many times a gentleman would come in who's balding, and they'd sit in my chair and say, "So how much for a half a haircut?"
Well, there ain't much to do there, bust
And
out.
I said, I still go through the whole process, whether some of your hair is gone or not. You know, but what I noticed about those that were balding or all bald is they always had very handsome eyes, like always. I tell you, this is my professional opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have thought about, going in for a professional manicure and asking if I get 30% off.
What am I missing? What am I missing? here?
Three of my fingers got truncated at the top knuckle by a power saw.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
goodness. Okay.
purple has been in the profession
Yeah.
of mechanical manipulation to the point where things
Well,
get
for over 40
truncated.
years, I made my living
Yeah.
doing home repairs and carpentry and that sort of thing.
right.
All right.
And a power tool is not a toy. And
Yeah, I
you know,
lost an
it's
argument
every
with
time.
an
Alright.
alarm saw.
Speaking of power tools, I've had experience with them, and I like operating them.
I was so pissed when that happened because
Yeah.
up until that point, I had been the only one in my family who would never need stitches from a power tool.
Oh, that's terrible when that
Yeah.
goes bad.
Didn't they just use super glue on you though?
Well, no, that
Not
was only
really.
when I got my thumb in the table saw. They
Oh,
super glued
yeah,
that back
there's a
together.
thumb on the table.
That was a different episode. That was when I
God.
was at a remote job site and I was working alone and I had to wrap it up in a t-shirt and drive myself 45 minutes to the hospital.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. My grandfather
Yeah.
had some missing fingers, like what you're talking about. And evidently it was a washer machine accident so he was born in 1903. So evidently the 20s or 30s, sometime around then.
One of those old
There?
washing machine mangles,
I think so.
which were appropriately named because, if you got your hand pulled into there.
You don't want to do that.
I remember my grandma having one of those machines in her porch.
Yeah, that's where they would be put, wouldn't they?
Yep.
On the porch. Yeah.
Yeah, the all time washing machines were actually pretty cool because it was, there was the washing machine and then there was this thing where you rinsed out the shit that
Well-
was in the tub
Yep.
and You
Yeah, you
feed
fed it between the
feed-
rollers
you
for it to
The
feed
ringer.
the
That's a ringer, is what they call
Yeah.
that.
That is
Ringer
indeed
washer
what they
is
call
what
that. Put them
they
through the
call-
ringer. Exactly right.
Yep. Well, and honestly, on my dad's side of the family, I don't know what a normal life expectancy would be because several of my uncles did not realize that alcohol and farm machinery were bad combinations.
Oh, wow.
That's unfortunate.
Well, pretty much half of my dad's brothers were gone before they were 60, either from alcohol, farm machinery, or some combination of the two.
Were they in Vietnam?
Actually, they were in World War II, and yeah, one
They
of them
were in. Yeah, they were.
one of them
Okay.
got buried in
previous
France in
generation.
World War II.
Okay. Thank you for
Probably
correcting me-
not
correcting
from
me
farm
on that.
machinery, and
No.
in that case.
No,
no.
actually, my father was serving in France in World War II, and
Okay.
the town over there still maintains a museum to his division
Oh, wow.
because they
okay.
had fought off multiple times that the German army tried to surge forward to take the town, and they held the road.
Was he involved in the Battle of the Bulge, the second Ardennes?
No, it was the town of Metz, France. His division
Okay.
became known as the Iron Men of Metz.
What year?
I think he was there like 1942 to 1946.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it wouldn't have been 46 because the war was over by then. So it
Well,
was-
the war was over, but it took him a while to bring everybody home.
that's true. Anyway,
Yeah.
So
we can. I'll
looking at, like,
I'll follow up
8
with you later.
Yeah.
we're looking at like 8 minutes till, or about 9 minutes till the next show in the marathon happens. So I'm going to start asking people to say their goodbyes. And
Yeah, the countdown is going for Kelly's show there, and it says there's 8 minutes left.
thank you. So can you start off, Wolf, saying goodbye?
Goodbye, everybody. I don't
Well,
have much
bye.
to say.
Oh,
Oh. And then how about you, Dallas?
Well, I just want to say, well, thank you for everybody being here on this show and being able to share our thoughts about today and about how we could enjoy this day that is so important to so many. And anything you get to do good on it means so much.
Yeah, it really does. And Purple, how about you? Is there anything you'd like to share?
Well, I guess I have to do it for Mage since he's not going to. So, Saturday or Sunday evenings, check out Mage's Media Musings, where he covers everything from old time radio shows to current movies.
Okay.
That's currently on a hiatus right now since I've been dealing with electrical problems, but I'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can still find stuff
Yeah.
on. I'll still be putting stuff up on the channel though. And if you want to know, I'm further up on the list of people who are in the marathon, so you can find it there.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
on
okay.
earlier this evening.
So you got to take part in the marathon as well. That's cool. Okay.
And then as for me, Mage is my co-host, and we do just a general talk show, general friendly chat, a lot like this, every Wednesday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central.
Yeah, you can look for this this avatar or for my other show, my own channel.
Yep, the little wolf in the Jedi robe.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, there's been times I've listened in, and sometimes I don't make a comment, but I just listen in, and listen to how the conversation flows. How about you, Stephanie? Would you like to share something before I say goodnight?
Sure. for all of you who have been hurt by in any way, by ideology, by indoctrination, by cruelty of groups that wish to maintain a narrative that is not where you are as a person. Blessings and healing. Don't give up on yourselves. Try to understand where you are and think, and also hold out the possibility of forgiveness for the people who have hurt you. That's what I've got to say.
Oh my
Merry
God.
Christmas.
So edifying.
nice.
Thank you. Yeah,
Um,
we need that. Yeah. Was somebody else getting ready to talk? I thought I heard somebody take a breath. And how about you, Matthew? Would you like to say something before I say goodnight for tonight's show? By the way, everybody, I will be on in 2 more nights on Saturday night, the usual. Tonight was Christmas night, and I wanted to be here for us. But yeah, is there
Hey,
anything on
family.
your mind you'd like to share, Matthew?
I think that I'm still absorbing Stephanie's eloquence because
Right.
that summed it up very, very well. I appreciate it. So thank you. And yes, yeah, I appreciate being with all
Yeah,
of you
thank you.
too.
There's.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
glad
in
you
the
showed
side
up
chat-
tonight, Matthew.
In the side chat, Jay Mars is saying Christmas is done, but it actually depends where you are. We have another 3 hours to go before Christmas at the International Dateline.
Yep. That's why it runs
Yeah.
till from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m.
And that's why Purple needs sleep, except she's not going to get it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna
Well,
be
with
getting
only
in
3
my
hours
sleep
left,
either.
I'll get through this.
Okay.
There's people that today are missing those that have passed on, those that have previous relationships and different things going on in their lives and loss of jobs and different things. And we don't always know what's going on with people. So be kind and most of all, be kind to yourself. And thank you for joining me tonight. If you want to
I-
stick around and talk after, you can stay here or you can go on to the next show. What were you going to say, Purple?
Well, you're saying about, missing people that we've lost. And I just had a weird occurrence here that Sloth Girl's tablet has been laying in that same spot for months. And
wow.
for some reason, it decided to turn itself on.
That's crazy. That's like, ooh.
Now it's like, I didn't touch it, and none of the cats were over there. So
Oh,
I don't
man.
know, something must have hit the button to make it turn on, but I don't know what happened.
Don't go all woo on me, Purple. Come on now.
Oh, woo woo. That's too great. Okay, everybody. This has been a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me, everyone in the chat, everyone that listened in, and anyone that's going to listen later. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night, all.
And night, y'all, man.
Bye.
I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can